is probably the day that there's the least
Right.
going on.
That's true. When do we get new blinds? Or we always had blackout blinds?
We've always had them, they're in the back, those are like yeah.
Okay.
We've never had them down, no,
Yeah.
they're down.
Makes it cooler, you know?
I guess because of, yeah, I don't know who put them down.
Kind of like,
No distractions for
Yeah.
vehicles passing by.
yeah.
See people passing the stop signs.
I got tired of this heat too.
My grandson got released today,
Oh, yeah?
to play sports,
Oh, good. Very good.
and he's seeing the physical therapist.
Mm-hmm.
They were live
Very good.
over there.
Okay.
So anything you say can be heard online
How,
and recorded.
how do we know if people are on there? Is there something that's gonna pop up for us?
No,
Because we're supposed to be able to have to respond to them.
so there's the private chat, which lets them talk, but then also there's a chat here.
Okay.
But you can see,
Do we have to keep clicking on that, Shelley, or?
that's what I'm doing here.
Oh,
Oh, okay, okay, gotcha.
But I'll probably be on Loftus's computer,
Oh, okay,
kind of watching that side of it,
okay.
at least, cause we'll be done great.
Yeah, because if somebody clicks into it, I'd like to know that somebody is online outside of us. And then,
I can't remember what it looked like the other day, but it did show that like over here.
okay,
Whenever you hear a noise, I can't remember what the noise is.
if somebody else will, that needs to be logged in. Because I know the public is supposed to be able to ask questions over it.
But like, Hobbs is doing it a weird way, because they're creating a Google form that people can fill out. But
Well, see,
there
ours
should
is
be only
only,
like parts in the meeting where they can like say anything. I think
and
there's a
ours
public
only
comment,
has
right?
one spot.
Yeah.
It's during the public comment. Anything outside of that, but I have to be able to know
Mhm.
if they are online at the time and want to speak during that time.
Oh, yeah.
so you might wanna be in here when it's.
So at least I can look at that.
See, like, listen. That little thing is, and then it has that,
So that shows two people, so the school board and you. Okay,
so then it'll show up whatever they put.
okay. Is there a way to turn that sound up just a little bit?
Which sound?
That little, is it very like, when somebody logged in? Is that just a TV thing? Oh, yeah, that'll work. Yeah, that'll work.
It was still a little,
Yeah, it's still a little quiet, but it'll be.
but if we keep it on this view, then you can see the number.
Right, okay.
We still gotta play with that a little bit. Cause then if you go full screen, then you can't see that, but you can
Right.
still hear the noise
Yeah.
still pops up, but then you can't see.
I can't see.
But if they do the private chat, then this should pop up
Yeah.
like Snyder
And
was
see, they
doing last time.
shouldn't, see, there shouldn't ever be a private chat. Because they're not allowed to have any conversation that the public can't hear.
This is a private chat for them to message us privately, not in a general chat for everybody to see. I think I can turn the private chat feature off, but here's
Because I
the
think,
public
because
chat.
that's the one that they should use, because they shouldn't be able to ask us a question without the public.
Yeah.
So the private would have to, if we can turn that off, that'd be great, that way we don't start using that one instead. As long as there's a chat option.
Yeah, I'll have to look and see how to do that.
Yeah.
So maybe not this meeting,
Yeah, no worries.
we'll see if anyone
Yeah.
joins.
Right.
Maybe not this meeting, but next meeting we'll make sure, I'll find out how to turn that off.
Awesome.
Make changes now might mess up the meeting.
Right. No.
I'm not trying to do that,
No, I agree.
I'm not trying to cause more problems. for us.
Right, get it?
I missed you at the tournament this weekend.
I was there. I was there all day long.
Were you?
Yeah.
I'll see if I can figure out that. What did they see? I don't remember you. My vision was little.
You waved at me.
He was a little
I did.
cross-eyed.
Yes, I saw you.
Good, good, how are you, sir? Good.
Shelley was just in here.
Yeah, maybe I saw her do it maybe last time, but.
Do we still need her?
Yeah.
Sounds like we might.
Hi.
I'm sure that right.
The red?
Maybe so.
I'm kind of big one.
Oh, let's see them on you.
Oh, you did.
Oh, I guess we'll probably just do that under.
Were you the one that made the tacos or what?
The tacos of beans and rice and salsas. Oh.
I just remember eating 3 tacos. The rest is a blur right now. I didn't even know I went to Ariel's house. I said, we're at Ariel's house. You up and down. What time did we start 9 o'clock?
It might be a tell.
She's go get her.
Okay.
Yeah.
We should have watched better.
We can just do it then.
All right, thank you.
How you been, bud?
Good, you?
Good.
Are they just gonna walk in all in the same time?
I guess so, but.
So, yeah, you can
Well,
say.
Lisa's gonna have to change baseball teams.
See, like.
They're going to Astros.
Oh, gotcha.
We have to sign in, that's the only reason they're hanging. If we didn't have to sign in, how are you?
How are you doing, guys?
Wait, what is this thing?
No, just.
I said that you're gonna give that 30-minute speech before it's over.
Listen, y'all just be glad I'm here, I'm missing volleyball.
There's a little routine stuff we put on.
Can I sit in the back? Can I
No,
go?
say that's a very problem.
Can I go first and then run out the door? And this is really gonna be such a
Right.
Let me go first so everyone will forget what I say. She's back home, she's going to Weatherford. She left,
I was
she
trying to
left
figure
you
out how
right when she
to.
graduated.
All right, I was almost there. That's the slides right there.
What are you looking at? I'm gonna sit close to you.
Marty, you're working on your accent, you're Marty.
Oh, yeah.
Marty.
Thank you. Yeah. Now.
Here,
Give it all. Thank you, sir. We're just.
let me get this one.
You know what, I will climb on the chair.
No, hey, if you're not gonna share, then we're gonna have to throw them.
I need you to
Bring it up. Yeah.
Not yet, until after that
Let's wash our hands up, the rubber gloves on, please.
You know, I'm not what it was last. You know what? No, I'll wash my hands. Okay.
Good.
All right. How are you? I'm good, thank Oh, that's right. Hey, so.
I'm not the Not the whole thing.
Will you be here this semester or before you?
I'll be in September, I'll be back with
Are you sharing or are you? Okay.
Well, Sharon, you've been trying to hide it from everybody.
Let me get on the chair that doesn't look get credit.
Did y'all meet him?
I'm in here.
I got rid of this money to make myself.
Leslie, I always tell people, like, you have to break the athletics. Okay? I can't make it pretty. Hey, Jim. No, Jim gets counted. Are you sure? Okay, then I'll.
Are you want me to leave it so we have more storage? Thank you.
No, I'm good, thank you. How are you? I heard you're trying to leave. I'll have to get it.
All right, 5:02, we're gonna go ahead and get started. We're just waiting on the start, that's all.
You know what?
Hey guys, it's 5:03. Please call the order, please. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I bet y'all wanted to do New Mexico, didn't you? I always just start doing the New Mexico. It's like, who are you talking to?
Not you.
I didn't know I had it in you.
The other day, I was trying to get on the phone with Renee, and I was like, hi, I love you. I was talking to Elijah.
Talking on for a second on the phone, like, oh, I love you, baby.
All right, so just so everybody's aware, we are live streaming right now. By state law, we have to be live streaming, so everything, I see somebody else logged in, Mr. Snyder, but I don't know who. Is there a way to, where's Shelley? Not here yet. Okay, somebody's here, or somebody's logged in on top of us, so, this is all new to us. So. Anyhow, the agenda is for Gossett Shelley. Oh, that makes sense. Good deal, thank you, sir. Item number 2 is our agenda. The only thing I noticed on the agenda proper, unless you wanted to rearrange anybody, you want to rearrange any of the agenda, I don't need to add, just to add that item 2. Yes. And it's NORCON, correct? NORCON, NORC. So under old business, we did not list them specifically, but they are in attendance today. So we just need to add them to the agenda in minutes. If they are here on concerning staying students. Outside of that, that was the only change in the agenda or addition to the agenda. Do you guys have any questions about the agenda? If not, we need a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
I'll second.
Sure.
Everybody's all good? Let's get the rhythm. Yeah. So we have a first and a second. All good. Minutes of our previous meeting. I did not notice anything that I reviewed previously.
Well, you know I did.
I sure did.
Your name is still, no, my name was not still. However, it is on the website, where's Shelley?
She's just listening to just.
Shelley, my name is spelled wrong on the website, it's Jaime. No, there were just a few things and I already gave it to you.
Like grammatical errors or any
Kind of,
changes?
sort of, but no changes.
No changes. You English major?
No, not at all. I just play one on TV.
Anything?
Perfect.
Just asking.
All right, so we have a motion to approve that minutes from the previous meeting.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Perfect. Item number 4 is our public comment section.
We got a lot of public. Now we're going.
And I don't think anybody's online willing to talk, right? No, that's just Shelley. Mr. Snyder, is there anybody that's here from the public? I mean, some folks.
Not that I'm aware of, is there anyone that's here from the public that would like to comment?
Speak at this time, if not for a vote, please. Okay. Perfect. Move on to introduction of new staff members. Before we do that, real quick, we should probably introduce ourselves. We know folks, and then there's other folks who just don't know. My name is Jim Goss, and I'm the board president.
Renee Cervantes, board member. Randy Chavez, board member.
Jamie Erk, secretary. And you know what? Vice president.
Best cooker. Best cooker. Person cooker.
Yeah, you know what?
It's okay, I got it.
All right. Mr. Snyder, if you want to take over number 5, let's start with the new staff.
Okay, so under the new staff, I was gonna start with the athletic department, since some of them have stuff going on. Do you guys still have stuff going on, Mr. Satterwhite? Would you like to lead off, Mr. Satterwhite, with our new staff? And then if you are a coach and you need to get to a practice, you can go next. So we'll start off with Mr. Satterwhite.
You introduce myself or introduce these?
That's up to you.
Well, I'm Brent Satterwhite. I'm the new athletic director and head football coach. Been in education for 36 years now. Came recently from Tatum. Spent 4 years up there and then spent 31 years in the state of Texas coaching at various locations, including down here by at Monahans at one point, so I've been close. And I remember the heat now. But all is good. I was able to bring some really good guys with me. They're not here right now, so I'll introduce these. Been with these guys. I've been with Victor for 4 years. This is Victor Solis. And he came with me from Tatum, coached against him back in Texas a few times over the years. And then he came over and joined us, I guess, 3 years at Tatum. And then he followed us down here and brought his lovely wife with him, Martha. And she's in our Spanish department. She's huge for us and working with our kids that are bilingual. And then Coach Peacock. Coach Peacock was actually a head coach and I was an assistant in Panhandle, Texas. And then he left there and bounced around a couple of places and then I went over to Amarillo and coached and now we're reunited. He's a super good guy from Albany, Texas. And just a very helpful and highly intelligent football coach and educator. He's been in it for both these guys a long time, 30 plus years. So these guys are both football and basketball and track in the junior high, and Coach Peacock's offensive coordinator in football, and then I'll be our head track coach. And of course, both of them are teaching math, and Coach Peacock's got some ISS, and he's Vince Homer right now in the science class, covering that till Mr. Homer gets back with us. I also work with Mr. Homer and Tatum as well. So that's the football guys.
What are you teaching?
I've got 3 periods a day of the weight room, and then junior high athletics first period, and then my last period is the athletic group that's on the field right now. And I'll do football, and then I'll be an assistant track coach. And then I found out today a whole lot of things as athletic director. Keep me plenty busy.
Yeah.
So all of us, I think I can speak for all of us and say this, that we're excited to be here and excited for the opportunity that we have. My wife doesn't like to talk, so I would like to introduce her to you because she's going to help us with cross-country powerlifting. This is my wife, Cammie Satterwhite, and she's been in education for about 32 years now. Joined me in Tatum for a couple of years, and then was able to join me. Because she joined me in Tatum, she thought she'd follow me down here. So we came down. By the way, Mr. Little hired me in Tatum, so we had a connection there too. He brought me to New Mexico. And then my wife was a follow later. So as a family, we're excited to be here too. She's teaching the pre-K kids in the elementary school. Let me introduce you two, Colleen. These two were begging anybody to introduce them. I said, make the principal. Pauline's a math teacher. She's a super stud math teacher coming from Port Hancock, Texas. where she's been Coach of the Year, Teacher of the Year, she's done all kinds of things. She's a college softball player, she's gonna help us with softball. And currently she's gonna help us off-season basketball and then being a basketball assistant when basketball rolls around. And like I said, junior high math, and she's, just 30 years old. She's got 3 masters already, so she's pretty sharp too. But we're excited to have her on our staff as well.
Awesome.
So,
And football guys go.
If they can, is there anything y'all would like to say for yourselves? If not, then you can.
You just gotta get rid of the artesian orange. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Okay, we'll go on down the list. High school staff members.
I'll go next, I'm not as exciting. I'm Laura Parsons, I'm from Strawn, Texas, chicken fries and 6-man football. I've been here for a little while though, graduated a couple of girls out of here, and I used to sub for the school and got my instructional aid license, and then I went to the oil fields. It's too hot, so I came here, and I'm assisting Coach Satterwhite in the weight room, and that's pretty cool. And then I help with a couple of robotics classes, some PE classes, and then for Mr. Little, I am doing the attendance and sending out a report daily to all the coaches who's absent, tardy, and then Mr. Little gets his own tardy report just to kind of keep up with that, keep the kids accountable. And then I'm helping Sasha coach the junior high volleyball.
good.
I think that's pretty exciting.
Very good.
I mean, a lot of stuff. I like it.
Oh, yes, I gotta go to practice. I just wanted to get done soon.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Jeff Hess, and I'm from Tatum, but I've lived in Lovington over 40 years, born and raised in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Yeah, go blue, go green.
Yeah, I'm related. Spent 24 years in Tatum, 8 in Lovington, and 1 in Lubbock at Hutchinson Junior High School. Coached football, basketball, track, tennis, baseball, hockey, anything you can imagine, I've done it. Right now, currently all English, 1, 2, and 3, reading 180 for 9th grade, and drama, which is a thrill, an absolute thrill. And I'm so excited, very excited to be here.
Yeah, we're excited to have you.
Yes. Even though you're from Michigan.
Thank you. In spite of that fact, I get it.
I'll take care of him later.
I'll go next. I'm Gary Simmons, I'm a local. I grew up in Jalapa, New Mexico. I graduated last year. No. A couple of years ago. Moved away for 40 years. Had the opportunity to coach in the state of Texas for 38 years, coach girls basketball for 38 years, coach football for about 22 of those years as well. Coached a little baseball. One thing I haven't coached is also, I was talking this morning, the only thing I haven't coached is soccer. I really wouldn't even know what to say there. Had the opportunity to come back to town this year. Mr. Little, Mr. Snyder called me up and talked to me, gave me the opportunity to come back down. I'm really excited to come back to my hometown. It's kind of been a big whirlwind for me to come back. I'm excited to be here. I teach some health classes. I teach some PE classes. Mainly, I just enjoy working with kids more than anything. I mean, I enjoy the thrill of competition every day, and I get up every morning, and that's what I do. I mean, whether it's my wife playing checkers or playing unison basketball, and I'm a competitive person. I've known a lot of people here, and I've ran into a lot of people here that I've worked with and with the school with, and bring back a lot of memories. Jal's different, and that's the first thing everybody told me was Jal was different. I said, well, I'm different too. If you knew me from a young age, don't tell my wife. We should come to you. I'm a big Texas Longhorn fan, so we're not going to get along this big football season. You will be blue. But anyway, I'm glad to be here and glad to be happy for the opportunity.
I'm Joel Willman. I'm teaching math for y'all. I'm teaching Algebra 2 and geometry. I'm also down in the elementary teaching 3rd grade math, 4th grade math, and 5th grade math. So I do math, 6 sections of math during the day. This is my 35th year in education. I was 12 years as a teacher and a coach in Texas. Then I went to Ropesville, Texas as a secondary principal. I was a secondary principal there for 13 years. From there, they demoted me to superintendent. I took the beatings there for 9 years. So I was in Ropesville, Texas for 22 years, had a good time there. Retired from Texas, opportunity presented itself here in Jal to come teach math, which is one of my favorite things to do. When they told me I could get to teach algebra 2, I said, I'm in. Let's go. That's one of my favorite subjects. I love it. I've been wearing them out every single day. They're totally confused and dazed at the moment. Working on linear functions. We'll be getting to quadratic functions here pretty quick, and then I will really have them with their heads underwater at that point. But it'll be good. We'll get them where they understand what that stuff is. But glad to be here.
We're glad to have
Thank you
you.
for the opportunity.
Ms. Radman?
Hello, I'm Bethany Ragland, and I'm a culinary teacher here this year. This is my first year to teach ever. I'm from Andrews, Texas, grew up, born and raised there, and then I lived in San Antonio for the last 13 years. And I've been chefing it up since. So I'm really excited for the career change. I like to think retirement. No, I'm grateful for the opportunity. I can't wait to teach the kids. Also, once we get through some testing, my main goal for these kids is not just how to cook. There's so many life skills that come with being a chef. It's time management. It's how to be efficient. It's just how to be sharp, diligent. You also have to know math. You have to know science. You have to be literate. I teach this to all my kids. You know, I'm very firm, like this is not just a blow-up class, you know, like we learn big things here. You're gonna learn how to be a better person when you come through my class. So ultimately, I want to teach them about sustainability and like living in food deserts like Andrews and Jal. You don't need a lot to do a lot. And I want to give them hope in that. You can make really good things with very little. So I just want to teach them technique, and I want them to enjoy the artistic pursuits that they're about to face. So,
Where did you go to college?
I went to the Art Institutes of San Antonio, and I did get my bachelor's degree in culinary management. And then, yes, so, sorry, I got my degree in that, and now I'm working on my certification through LEAP. So that's about a full year's process. So I tell the kids, look, I'm in school too, guys. I have homework right along with you. So some of my homework is you. So yeah, but that's what I'm currently doing.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We should know that an adult class has already been requested.
That's me.
We would have fun.
Yes.
So.
Ms. Elise?
My name is Martha Solis. I've been teaching over 31 years. My main focus has been in the elementary and middle school reading, English language arts. I taught Spanish last year in Freedom. I'm teaching Spanish here and helping with the English language learners, and that's my love, transitioning kids from Spanish speakers to English speakers. My goal is to I'm a former administrator, and I have 4 years of administrative, of being a principal. But my goal is to have Spanish 1 classes and then eventually lead to Spanish 2, maybe AP, but also to get our kids to do the bilingual seal. So I think that'd be very important. And we have really good kids here. I love it.
Nice.
Thank you.
Ms. Gonzalez, would you like to say anything?
No, I think, yeah,
What Coach didn't say about me is, I'm teaching algebra 1 and geometry. I was a former head coach in Amarillo, Highland Park. Been married to that wonderful lady for 38 years. We met at Hereford High School. We're both from Hereford. And,
high school sweethearts.
yeah. And then, Coach, I'm sorry, and Mr. Hess knows this, I'm believe the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Our 2 kids graduated from there, and man, I love the thumbs up.
You should see his class, you should see his classroom.
And my wife is correct, man. We came from Tatum. And so, man, the kids over there, all coach, those job kids. We love them. If I say, hey guys, I need, 2 or 3 get up right away to help me. And well, maybe it's my age, I don't know. But no, they're good kids. Good kids.
Ms. Galindo, so I can introduce yourself and then your staff.
She's like, look at like, no, Vanessa's gonna talk too. I'll stand over here, cause. I am Leslie Galindo. This makes me really nervous. So, my voice is all shaky. I have done something with special education ever since I graduated high school. I was an instructional aide, for a long time. I don't even know how many years in the SPED department. And then I have 5 years of experience in applied behavior analysis that was focused, with children with autism. I worked in a clinic. 2 of those years, I was a supervisor for the clinic. I ran programs. I did a lot of things. Like I trained parents, I trained staff, I modified programming. We did all of that. I do have my board certification for the assistant behavior analysis, and I'm working on getting my legit certification for behavior analysis. I'm also level 4 credentialed in skill-based treatment. And y'all, I know that means nothing to y'all, but it's actually really cool. So I can work with kids that have severe problem behaviors. Been well trained in that. And then, yeah, that's about it right there. I have my master's in applied behavior analysis, my undergrad is in special education. And yeah, I really like kids. Like I said, I've done everything ever since I graduated high school. That's what I've been doing.
Leslie, are you new to Chad?
Oh no, I've been doing it my whole life.
What were you doing at the high school?
Oh, at the high school, I am the special education teacher, and I will be doing some of the ABA consulting. So that means that I can write behavior plans, do functional behavior assessments. Again, that probably means nothing to y'all, but it's actually really cool.
It's music to my ears. Nothing else.
Very useful.
Very useful.
And it can help train staff and all that kind of stuff. There's so many things you can do with it. And then the two of the instructional assistants in my room is Vanessa. She is with one of our kids who has severe cerebral palsy. He's in a wheelchair, and she does a lot of helping him with his daily living tasks and mobilizing him around the school because he can't mobilize the wheelchair by himself yet. And then you have nursing experience, right? Yes. So she has that under her belt. And then we have Ms. Jennifer.
Hello.
She is working with she's working with 2 kids, one who has autism and the other one who has Down syndrome. And she does inclusion with them, and she gets materials and she prepares them for those kids. And she will literally do anything that I ask her to do, which is amazing. So, and you can really tell how both of them love the kids that they work with. And you've worked in a school before too, right?
Yes, I have. So I actually started working for a school in 2018 up until 2022. Also being an instructional aide for special education. And then what I just recently left was I worked in a hospital, just including pregnant women coming in that were gonna have their babies. And then I did move here to Dow recently in April, just to follow my husband since he's working in the oil field. But I'm really excited that I was given the opportunity to continue working with kids. Especially.
So Leslie, you mentioned behavioral patterns, like helping problem children. Is that just for special needs children, or could you help these teenagers that get on our nerves?
That is totally for There is so many things you can do with behavior analysis that go into like organizational behavior management. If your team isn't working the way, or they're not being as productive as you would want them to, you get a behavior analyst in and they can identify where the problems lie and what strategies and interventions to implement, so that way you can raise your productivity. Like I said, there's a lot of things to do with it, and it's not just with special needs. I can sit in the room and tell you what your function of your behavior is, just by watching you for a few minutes, just because that's how that works, but I won't do that.
Hey, real quick, is that all the high school staff?
Yes.
I know we're blessed throughout the school, but I feel extremely blessed to have this staff at the high school. It's extraordinary. We have great staff, and glad all of you showed up tonight. If you would like to leave, is it okay if that's fine? And I've said this before, but we've got one of the best staffs I've ever seen at the elementary and high school, existing and new. So what's amazing is what we've been able to complement our existing staff with to cover all those areas that we feel like we were falling short of.
I have a question for Mr. Little.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you getting death threats from Tatum?
I've been asked not to go during daylight hours.
Restraining order still.
It's okay, everybody.
And our regional board meeting is there this year. so-
Oh,
Nice.
Well, yeah, the amount of experience is, and diversity of experience, even with somebody like yourself who's first year educator, but your background, what you bring to the table is pretty
Well, it's like
nice.
you built sunk thousands into a professional kitchen. Why
Right.
not get a professional chef?
Yes,
Absolutely, and everybody
Yeah.
spoke so far, I know there's others that haven't yet, but we really appreciate you, and, I think we had a really good team before, but man, it's just rising, you know, it's just getting better and better and better. Diversity is amazing.
Oh, yes.
I really like the fact that it's core, you know, our Englishes and our maths and, our, you know, English language learners, things like that, that's just spectacular.
Really is.
We need it, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Yes.
Y'all are welcome to stay as long as you want.
Could we introduce the elementary?
Yeah, that's what I was
No, I'm
like.
in high school, high school's welcome to stay as long as you want.
Please take a cookie or two before you go.
Thank you.
I am gonna stay.
Let's go ahead and we'll switch over to elementary. I'm sorry they released our staff before we got to.
That's all right.
Everyone don't mind.
So, I'm going to start over here and work our way down, waiting for you, Ms. Ford. If you'd like to stand, and then I do have a few shy ones, so I'll do that. I'm Jackie Ford, and a lot of you know me. Excuse me, but I'm working as an instructional aide in third, fourth, and fifth grade math, mostly with Ms. Savoy, and then, working with math and awesome. Is that all right? I won't make you speak if you don't want to, but.
I'm Tammy Satterwhite, and I taught 29 years in Texas and retired and went to Tatum to be with my husband. And I was there 2 years, and I taught math, and now I'm here teaching pre-K, level D, and I'm gonna help with cross-country and powerlifting.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yes.
And she recently just had a grandbaby. Just checking. Last week. Yes, of course. She was actually here the first day of school for the training, and her daughter was in labor.
We have 8 grandbabies.
Oh.
One boy, 4 girls.
Gotcha.
They waited about 2 or 3 days just to get the first week of school.
Well, they had 7 others.
Good point. They are good brain much.
Well, I think all the school board knows me, but I'm Amanda Martinez. I started working here in Dell 2011 as a sub. Got hired on by Mr. V in 2012, and I was a kindergarten aide for 5 years. Then they bumped me to special ed aide for 2 years, and then obviously I was pregnant for a few of those years. Well, my son, I was pregnant, I came first day of school, and then with my daughter, I was actually at the new school when I was pregnant with her. Decided to take a little break, actually moved to Alabama, which that's where I came from. I graduated over there and stayed there for 2 years. And then last year came back, decided to sub again, and told Ms. Comer, I was like, well, if you have a position, I'll take it. Call me June, so I got hired on. I will be working with Miss Welch, the third grade teacher, in reading 180 with third, fourth, and fifth grade. And I am also bilingual, so I will be translating as much as possible to our Hispanic kids that know little to no English.
Awesome, thank you.
Hi, Trent.
Hi, everybody. My name is Juan Cardona. My husband got transferred here 3 months ago. So he was like, "You wanna go?" And I was like, "You don't ask me twice. I'm going with you." Long story short, I have my master's in criminal justice. I work with the juvenile kids. I was a JCO for a while in Albuquerque. I have child development certifications, family certifications, and leadership and FEMA and things like that. So, long story short, one day I asked Ms. Comer, I asked her, "Miss, is there any way I can volunteer for everything?" And she was like, "Girl, I have a spot for you." So currently, I'm working as an aide with Miss Kaylin in the mornings, and then I'm gonna be working as a teacher in the afternoon. And I just wanna say that I'm so happy and blessed to be here. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity. And it's an amazing family. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We're an amazing family.
Yes, you guys are.
She's talking about employees. Sorry, she was talking about the employees. Sorry.
Okay, you ever seen Seinfeld? Those are cookies for you.
Lasers. There were lasers.
I'm kind of a old new hire because I came in the middle of the year, last school year. And I was working with the fourth graders on ELA and science. My name is Marta Ellinger. And so I moved here from Louisiana, and I had spent the last 14 years prior to that teaching in special education, mostly middle school, and the last 4 or 5 years elementary. So right now, I'm in school as well, and I'm taking an alt cert to level up the elementary hours because my first certification in education was in special ed. So I'm in the math department upstairs, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade math, and I'm loving it. Things are getting rolling a little bit slowly, but we are making our new schedule work, and the days are flying by, and we're all enjoying it.
Nice.
Thank you for having me.
Mr. Wellman, did you want to go again?
Round 2.
Yeah. Once was probably enough.
So a few more that were here. Monica Betts is also kind of an old/new. She stepped in for Bridget when we lost her. And so she did such a phenomenal job and said, "I'd like to continue," so we hired her. So Miss Betts does a lot of what Bridget did for us. And then we had 3 new hires in our SPED department with the level D students, and that was Zaida Fuentes, who graduated a few years ago, and Natalie Nunez, who also graduated just a few years ago, and Ruby Uranga, who also graduated a few years ago. So we grabbed them because they're awesome. They're awesome job graduates and awesome employees. And then another one who couldn't be here was Coach Emmy Lujan, and I know you guys are familiar with him. I think I've might have heard him, his name once or twice. So I'm the same as Mr. Little. I feel very blessed to have the staff that I have. You know, we were fortunate in the people that we recruited and hired and put into place. are all really good at what they do. And I'm gonna tell you something, one of the things that I feel is, like Miss Ford was kind of thrown into the fire. I said, you know, you're used to accounting where everything is in place and everything's organized and worked, and welcome to education, because it's not. She has done such a great job just stepping in. And then this one who started out as volunteering and then subbing and then an aide and now teaching part-time or 3-year-old sped department. So I'm telling you, these staff have really stepped up, and we still don't have a read and math 180 material, but it hasn't stopped them from jumping in and finding things that our kids need and filling those gaps. So I'm looking forward to the strides that we're gonna make this year. And I wanna thank you guys for making things happen and allowing us to hire the staff that we needed to be able to do it. Thanks. I'm happy to.
Thank you. Okay, so is that everybody, Mr. Little? That's everyone? Okay, thank you guys again. Thank you
Wait, who's this guy? We have one more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we have one more.
I was like.
Almost forgot our maintenance department.
You're doing here, so you don't really count today.
So,
I got
it counts for the call. I'm James Tolder, and the maintenance supervisor, and, glad to be here. I have a very diverse background with a lot of mechanics and Marine Corps and contracting and other stuff, so, getting it done, so.
Diesel experience.
Yeah, a lot of diesel mechanic experience.
Really like school buses.
So we just got some code readers, and we actually use them today, and so probably saved a $4,000 or $5,000 bill. So,
Nice. They can pull all the codes and then we can turn those in and then if the bus.
because before those were just going over there for whatever, let them fix that, so.
Right.
Trying to fix what we can in here,
We
before we
appreciate
just send
that.
it out, so.
Yes, and hopefully we'll have you more space soon.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully. Oh, we will, I mean, hopefully. We will.
Isn't that the kind of hope for everybody?
Yes, yeah, well, we've been working on the space thing for years now. You guys all know
That's it, we do.
But no,
Already have to
I,
apologize. So.
everything's been, as far as tools and everything we need, you know, it's been, just, you know, as we need it, so that's very much appreciated, so.
We appreciate you, thank you. Your job's gonna get big, fast. Bigger fast.
He's already, thanks,
Especially when the buses break down, out and over road, everything's going to be, just say that.
She gets woke up too when they don't answer.
You're right. We try not to work with girls. Close on face.
There's an excuse to get breakfast.
Right, there you go. Well, thank you guys, we really appreciate all of you. You guys are, huge assets to us. I mean, we really, I mean, obviously, we can't do this without you guys, because we're the first thing about it, so. Everybody from, I'd say Mr. Snyder, he's way off today. Mr. Little, and, no, Mrs. Comar, you guys are doing great. It looks like you guys have a great team, so. We wouldn't have it without you guys. You guys brought them all here, so we appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Hope you guys have a wonderful day.
You guys can go.
You don't have. They're like,
I was addicted. I'm just gonna say, let's
We're gonna get you.
Yeah, it's like, thank you, I finally finished coloring.
Now I see where it is. So what I can do.
Don't blame me.
No, he's a good kid.
Yeah, yeah, I see.
He
Yeah, he's my mini.
is, I just said this is her.
So.
He's bragging about her.
51.
All right.
I know about some
Is that everyone? All right. All right, guys, so let's move on to item number 6, financials. Start from the goal.
And she's got cooking on
Just 'cause I'm trying to hand out uniforms, I have a game tomorrow too. And it has been a day because I have ineligible players that we just barely found out about.
Oh, it's Monday, isn't it? All day.
all day.
Okay. So I do not have any budget adjustments. So there's nothing to approve there. I do have in the report the status of the SB9. Our carryover is an unaudited cash balance of 55 million. We spent about 2 million of the SB9 encumbered, we have 32 million. I'm still not, I have to go through all the projects to see which ones are actually all encumbered. They should all be encumbered, but I had to make some adjustments for that. For the bond building, we do estimated cash balance of 27.5 million. And then only 1.5 of that is encumbered, so we have still a budget of 25.9.
Nicole, that's not in the actual SB9 balance, right?
The unaudited cash balance is 55 million.
Right, but that doesn't include the bond building piece?
The bond is down here, is 31,100.
No, yeah, I just didn't know if the amount, so the unaudited cash balance does not include the bond building.
No, the bond is a separate fund.
Right, so 31.
Yeah, so the estimated cash
Oh, yes,
balance
you're
of the bond is the 27.5.
When do we expect that to move over to the SB9?
It doesn't.
It never does, we just use it as a separate account.
All the debt service, that is what gets transferred over to the bond. Yeah, and so the SB9 is the actual taxes, the regular tax.
I don't know why I was confused about that.
We just spend it out of two different pots.
Yeah,
So
and so
even the same building.
Right.
in October, we'll have another resolution and start for you guys to sign in to get to capture the remaining of that.
And that's what I was confused about, was that remaining balance.
Yeah, there's still a remaining balance on there, so in October, we'll get that, all the paperwork started, Art will do all that. Art,
Yeah.
legends, yeah, we'll do all that.
Whatever this person is doing, he's retired.
He's kind of still there though. I like the parts kind of
I
still
thought
there.
Mark retired, didn't he?
Melendres,
So,
he was still in our last, I don't know if he just recently did, I don't know.
he was talking about stepping back up to us one time. Yeah, I remember that. It's been a few years back. Yeah. Okay, but he's still there.
Well, we'll just say Module and Spurling, right? That's what it's in there. We'll just say that. So yeah, so we do have, we've only paid a few stuff out of that so far. The next page is the actual tax collections for those funds. The first column is the operational funds, the middle column is the SB9, the debt services on the right side, and then you have the ed tech debt service on the back. So the current stuff is in the purple. Then we have a copy of the fund balances for all the funds. And then the bank statements for the operational activity and the cash, we call it. The sweep account. I've also did provide the third quarter expenditure report that was approved by PED. It's also in the packet. So if y'all come across anything, please let me know if you have questions about it. But it's just an itemized line by line of how much we're spending in each of those funds. It's like a roulette or something. They're doing it for Lynn's and Dusty's office.
Oh, okay. Your office, I sent to Albuquerque, he's turned 40 today.
Yeah, happy birthday.
You sent him to Albuquerque?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Anybody have any questions over any of the information that was given? Fund balances, SB9? No, not. No? And you good? Okay. Good on that. Thank you. Bills list.
I didn't see it.
Renee brought up a good question, and I had seen it as well. We have, there you go. How many different pest control people do we use?
Depends on what kind of pest it is.
Oh.
So we have gophers, groundhogs, we have regular roaches, ants, we have, well, which is another company.
There was just, I think there's 2 or 3 in here.
There's also a triple R, but there's one that's a tree care, there's one that says pest control and they spray for, they spray the grass, you know, like weeds. Even though it says pest control, they do the weeds for us, so each one does a different job depending on the name of the company. So there's not one pest control that does all of it, it's like they all do different things.
Yes, sir.
If you know which one, I'll tell you what they do.
It was just the fact that there was
Different pest control.
yeah, more than one.
There's 3 different ones we use.
I think there's 3. Okay, there's a pest control one,
Taylor,
and there's Taylor, yeah.
That's the yards, the houses, right, so it's different ones for
and
Taylor doesn't do ours.
is it professional? Yeah, that's professional, right?
This one doesn't, consent.
Yeah.
They just condensed it into one.
I know, it's just all do everything. Yeah.
Other than outside of that, I didn't have any bills. Anybody else?
No, sir.
Need a motion to approve the bills list?
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Sure.
That's yours. I messed up too. All right, food service audit review.
That one was fine, wasn't it?
Okay, so,
It's just single page.
do y'all have that in your packet?
Just
Oh,
we don't really have the audit review, we just have.
so it was probably in your last packet, the month before. Cause it was in the board packet last month and y'all tabled it or something to go over.
Yeah,
Oh, because it wasn't on the
Because y'all
agenda.
didn't have all the information on it either, and
Well, it wasn't on the agenda.
on the agenda. Okay.
Right.
It was on the agenda, but Nicole wasn't here to explain it,
Yeah.
so we just wanted to
They all
understand
findings and what it was and what they meant, that's what she represented.
So there were several findings of this, the first time we've ever had an audit since I've been here. So we basically went through each one of those findings. One of the ones was we don't have procurement procedures, for food service specifically. I just sent her what we had and it wasn't, enough to cover what was need to be covered. So she did suggest, a policy and that was also in your board packet that you're supposed to approve today. I guess I don't have that.
No.
So is it gonna, what?
Yeah, we'll have to take it over, it's not on the, it just says, yeah, it wasn't included, so that's what happened.
Okay, so do you want me to give you a copy of it today so y'all can approve it for the
If
next
you could, that
one?
would be great, yeah.
Okay, because that was part of the finding, and so I had to make sure that, let her know when it would get approved for that.
If
if you can just give us a brief rundown and we'll.
I mean, it's just general procurement policies and the code of conduct, what procedures we do for micro purchases, small purchases, how we go about invitation to bid, how long we post them, what items, what specifications need to be in them, is what the policy does. It's just setting it in there, yeah.
We have to go to RFP for that, right?
Yes, we have, yes, we do the invitation to bid every year.
Right.
Except we just didn't have an actual policy in place. And so that was one of the findings, and so.
Yeah, so we go out to bid, and then if someone applies or gets it, then y'all do approve it every year.
Right.
That was how.
Yeah, there was no actual policy adopted,
Oh,
so, I didn't get a finding for that. The next one was, failed to conduct a cost price analysis, and again, she gave us, a form to use for that, and so, it's just something that's gonna be adopted in the policy as well. The next one is to provide evidence of properly advertising invitation to bid. So we went out for bid, obviously, but we didn't collect the clippings of the newspaper, the actual, how long we did it for. And so there were just little bitty things like they're like, well, I didn't know, like we just put it in, you know, we know it's there. So we just have to, you know, make sure that's all together. So we did take care of that for this past summer when we're like, okay, we gotta make sure we do all this.
Yeah, and we do advertise it, we just don't have a way to prove that we do
Yeah,
like
so,
an actual copy from the new.
We did take care of that one, and I had to write a response for all of these, and they were all accepted, and cleared. The next one, one of the invitation to bid wasn't provided, so we took care of that. The other one was, to get state agency approval of a non-competitive procurement. So basically, like we use Gandy's, Dairies, and US Foods, so one of the years we didn't get any bids. And so when we don't have any bids, we have to submit a document to the state agency to let them know we had a non-competitive procurement. And so we get to choose whoever we want to
And
use
that's
for.
what I did, actually. In the food service, the grocery store used to put in bids, they don't. There's a few of them that.
So, you know, that was just, yeah, and well, the thing is, it's not, it's with the SFA, it's not with, New Mexico procurement, like it's the School Food Authority, which is the USDA. And so I was like, well, we don't know those policies either, so we have to make sure we're following their policies and the Mexico procurement. And so that's why most of these things were findings from that.
Because it's really all guided by USDA, not a New Mexico agency.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to go by, even though what we're serving is USDA, not necessarily even New Mexico or law. Yeah.
Another finding was, not providing documentation, so we have to keep these things in here in this office for, was it 3 years or 5 years? 3 to 5 years, and we were just boxing them up after we got audited, and we're just boxing them up, and so we had to find them for that too, because we couldn't provide them with all this paperwork. So, I said all of those things did get, I did the response on them and uploaded them, and she approved all of them. The only thing I'm lacking is just the approval of the policies.
Okay, well, and we apologize, we should have been more clear on our end last time, and just made sure we had paid attention to what we tabled.
Oh,
Yeah, so we could have brought it forward this time.
And so one of the other things that we didn't get a finding on, but she did tell us that we needed to change the food price. And so she did provide us, and the thing was, she was very helpful. She provided us with a lot of the tools that we needed and the policies that we needed to make sure we were in compliance. And so this was one of the adult meal pricing tools, because we are a CNP, CEP school for the next 5 years, where we don't charge the kids student lunches. We still have to charge adult prices, and so we had to go with this sludge pricing tool. And so our new prices are set here. We're method number 2. So for breakfast for adults, it'll be $2.45, and then for lunch, it'll be $4.85.
So it was originally $3.50. And so now it's those prices for lunch, $45, and then I don't think we offered breakfast before then, but.
I didn't realize they told us how much we had to.
Well, we didn't either. That was part of this right now. Just the other day, I said, Nicole, I don't wanna go. We don't have a choice, Mr. Schneider, you gotta go. No, I don't wanna go. If anything, let's go. And we were like, no, or they're like, no, you have to go to that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah, there's a whole bunch of, well, again, it's the USDA,
Right.
like, we're off federal as well. So they.
Still pretty cheap though, $4.85.
$4.85.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, where would we be?
What we do without the government to tell us how much to charge.
And I have had a few administrators go and eat twice a week and.
Charging double?
If they're on some kind of duty, they don't have to pay, that's what it always, if they're not on duty, then they would have to pay.
They come here on their day off, eat?
I mean, like lunch, like helping in the line, Mr. Officer, and then I'll just walk over there and see, but you know, just salad bar, that kind of stuff.
So I did just now find a bar that was back to brick and just have to go for the next meeting.
No, because we have a budget adjustment on our
Okay.
agenda.
Okay, so the budget adjustment is actually for meals, that's why I was tucked in all this other stuff. So it's the Healthy Universal School Meals, and it's from the school food authorities. And the amount, that they're awarding us this year is $74,163.
That's from the school food authority?
And so this is the maximum reimbursement that we can get from USDA. And it's because we're 100% free in the CEP program, they offer us up to that amount. So we can claim up to $74,163.
Do you have offhand how much more our school lunch program costs us than what we get from that?
No, but we did have to do a report on it because we do it every year.
Can we get that information too, along with this information? I mean,
So what they require us to is, to make sure that our balance is only, 3 months worth of expenses. It can't be any more than that. So if we have an excess amount, then it needs to come out of a different fund, like we can only hold 3 months worth of expenses to carry over.
It's all schools, cafeteria. Perfect, so we will make sure that we have that,
The policy?
policy next meeting.
Okay.
And you can either just, if you wanna add it to the next packet, or you have it now, or did you email that to us?
I did not.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I put a note that I put it in the next packet.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
Just that budget authority, just the approval for that bar.
Just the bar for 74,163. Does anybody have any questions about any of that or the bar?
Oh, sure.
So we need a motion to approve that budget adjustment for $74,163.
Make that motion.
I'll second.
Thank you, ma'am. Sorry about the policy. We'll make sure we get that next meeting. If we can just mark over table and both. Well, she did the audit review just now, so just the review of the policy. And we'll make sure that's in the packet and we'll all review it beforehand. You better prepare next meeting. Alright, anything else, ma'am?
No.
No, thank you. Thank you. Alright, you want us to sign the list list? Or you not?
Yes.
All right, item number 7 is our old business and ongoing business. And so we basically have all of our normal updates on all of our projects, our builders and our architects, but we also have more on there, and I don't know what order you'd like to place them in.
Since we've added it, we can go over, the high school, what's going on at the football field first, and then we'll have them work on and what was happening with the stadium sign.
Perfect.
Kind of goes
Go
right
ahead, I'll get the presentation going, you want to, your Vance?
We will start at the athletics. There's been a lot of progress going on over there lately. I don't know if y'all been by. Interior finishes are about 98, 99%. We still got some stuff going on and it'll be a major cleanup. We're pushing really hard to have that building get a certificate of occupancy on it, so we can use. Okay. The scoreboard, the steel is up. York Hunt came down today, they're laying it out, so the installation of the scoreboard will start tomorrow.
Oh, okay. It's the actual scoreboard itself.
The new scoreboard. Mr. Schneider asked me about the brick on one column, it wasn't finished, and I told him we had to delay it. It was going to take the scaffolding down to get the steel erected for the scoreboard. Scaffold was in the way. Scoreboard's going up, and then we'll go back to the brick after. It's kind of working in reverse. Sometimes you gotta do that. Like I said, the interior finishes are about 98% between there, and then we'll need a major cleanup of the red. And we won't say a red or a blue or a orange. Let me rectify that.
Much better.
Stadium, there's been a lot of work going on over there. You can see the progress. We've got framers framing the back walls, concrete being poured on the ramps and steps. We've got a pour scheduled Friday to finish the steps that go up the precast. We are gonna start with the metal that's, you see the framing, we'll get the facade metal on, that'll make a big change. Mr. Schneider asked me about the press box. It's still, we're still about 4 weeks out with the steel on that, so it's gonna be a delay. That's all we can do with it. What we're trying to do is have that ready for your games. Obviously, the seating won't be on there, and we've got to talk to, the state inspector will be down tomorrow. I've got to talk to him about access to it. Since the groundwork's not done, and we're gonna see if he'll let us get by with leveling that all up with some chat, packing it in. It won't be a trip hazard. Right now, it looks like a construction zone. So we're gonna try to get that smoothed up and make it accessible so the bleachers can be used.
And it's kind of like walking in baby powder, it's about this thick.
Yeah.
On both sides, so it's a mess.
So, still a lot of work to be done, but we're working very diligently and hard at it. We had this last weekend off because we ran out of mortar, but the mortar coming back. John's had us on 7 days a week, so you're gonna see people down there on the weekend. We're doing our best to hit your deadline. That's all I can tell you. Your gym or your locker room for your football team is pretty much done. We needed some carpet in the coach's locker because it wasn't included in the bid. Brian told me they didn't go and get it in. That's already in effect. We try to move as fast as you do. Can't keep up with Mr. Schneider. I've got a staff and still can't.
Right.
It's like the road runner in the coyote. Elementary, made a lot of progress there. Doesn't look like it, but most of the rough-in electric was done for first and second flooring. We have the second floor concrete scheduled for Wednesday at 5 o'clock in the morning, so we'll be here early. Once the concrete is poured, John has been dealing with our sub to get the exterior framing coming. I don't know what's the last date of that is. It should. So you're gonna see a lot of progress start taking off on that one.
Yes.
We've kind of had the junior high and park concentrating on these areas so we can get your Friday night lights going. We certainly don't want to hold that up any more than we have to. We still have a few issues with the track. We still don't have elevations on it. We've got some footings to put up for a little stem wall around there, and until we get that done, we're gonna put that on park because it's not gonna affect how you play on the field right now. We also are trying, back to the field house, trying to have that concession
bumping on. We're gonna leave your existing one in place. So if we get them both running, then you'll have two concessions. Unfortunately, your traveling teams won't have them on their sides. Y'all kind of really don't care about
We do have a junior high game this Saturday here. They don't play on the field.
Yeah, that's totally not scheduled, and Lovington is doing a bunch of construction. Imagine that.
Wow.
And I said, well, so are we, and they said, well, we might have to cancel, and so Mr. Satterwhite got on it, and we were able to pull something together now. And we are gonna have the old scoreboard, old concession working, so awesome, cool.
We've got RJ with Park Hill, I'm sure he's got more to add, and we have Edgar Avila with Norcon here, to discuss the bleacher seats.
Perfect.
I think I've covered most.
I know you said there was something about a delay of steel or something, I missed that part.
Yeah, the press box was planned to be reused, and when they started taking it apart, it was impossible. I mean, there was welded connections instead of bolted, and it could not be re-salvaged. And so right now, they're doing just time and labor to try and get it done as fast as possible. So it'll be in addition to the current contracts because it couldn't be reused, but they're able to get steel. And I know John had reached out to their original manufacturer and they wanted double the time and double the money to do it. And so he was able to find a steel manufacturer in Midland, Seminole, that was able to do it for half the cost and half the time. It's just whether or not it's going to be able to be completed by then.
Now, once we started deconstructing your original press box, it was a well together unit.
Right, I remember
I had to cut it loose, and it was gonna cost more to try to grind that. Because at these scale wages, it wasn't feasible.
Right, understood.
So you're gonna have a bright new press box on your new. It once was the nicest part of the stadium, but I feel like once we got done, it probably wouldn't.
Right.
Yes.
And I think they still want to quote together this new one so we can have, because ours is kind of small even when it's working. And we need one for visitors to put them on. Not really just for them, but just to get them out of ours.
Right, no, absolutely. I do have one more thing to add. I don't know if Mr. Schneider's told you, since we're not gonna have those bleacher seats available, John, out of his heart, has ordered a bunch of cushions. And I don't know if you've got a picture of that. But they've got your Panther emblem on one side, and then he's went ahead and put Lasco on the other, and he's gonna donate those to you. Spent, I don't know, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 on pads that he's given to y'all can hand them out, sell them, make money off them, whatever you have to do.
Thank you so much.
They're really nice.
Appreciate that, thank you, John. Appreciate all the effort, for
Y'all
sure.
have any questions?
No, but Norcon should probably cover the cost of those packs.
Do you want to just go to Norcon and I can update?
Yeah,
Do y'all want to go to Norcon?
Yeah, let's go ahead. Yeah, I'm sorry, we missed your first name.
Oh, no, you're fine. My name's Edgar.
You got the floor. You have the floor, sir.
Okay, well, these seats are arriving on Friday, October 11th. We are planning on having a crew, multiple crews here, so you get this done, human family, as fast as possible, so you guys can have those seats. There was been a couple delays with Hussey regarding the manufacturing, so that's why it got pushed back. But we've been working, trying to get this pulled back. I know my boss has been trying to call ADF, we've been trying to get this as quick as possible, and that's as quick as we can do it at the moment, which is October 11th.
So just out of curiosity, and we really thought it was important that you or somebody, a representative of your company came down because, I mean, Lasco's here and Park Hill, City Cooper, they're here all the time telling us what's going on. Ultimately, they're the contractor, but, you know, they were looking to you to your company to provide, and we just want to know what happened. I mean, because these were ordered months ago. I mean, well back into the beginning of the year. How are we just now realizing, oh, we aren't going to have them?
So we have this process of how we do things, we do some middle process. Once you guys get the colors, you guys get the approval, we get it back. But before we can release it, we gotta do field checks. So I was waiting for the most time for the actual concrete features to be set. There was an email that I missed, that's why I did not order those in time, so that was back in February, if I do recall. So that was on my fault, so I do apologize for that.
So when you missed that, when were they delivered?
In June.
So from February to June?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It sounds like that process is really broken. I mean, because this isn't a big, small project, and obviously we're completely reliant on you guys, our whole town is.
Yes, sir.
And, so when you say they're gonna be here on the 11th, what does that look like? I mean, I know you're gonna bring down crews and stuff, but what's our outcome? What's our?
It's gonna be about a week and a half for install duration. And we can be here a week before just to do the layout, drilling all the holes, sand the anchors, so it'll be a quick, smooth as possible.
So the 11th, what does that look like in?
October 11th is, there's a game, it's a Friday, it's in Cruces, the following week is in Loving.
What's the Unis game?
The Eunice is here, that's the 25th.
Of October.
So
that's 14 days.
So we'll have stands, 14 games, we should be getting, if he's right, we'll have stands for the youth game.
So
Bleachers.
what is, we've been building for a long time. And I mean, not just this project, but the whole district. And unfortunately, we ran into some problems at the very beginning that really delayed us, really pushed us back. And many times it was just because people weren't being straightforward with us. So you're telling us on the 11th, a week to a week and a half, are you suggesting that by the 25th, that Friday the 25th, exactly 2 days, 2 weeks from the time you deliver, that we should be able to be in those seats?
Yes, sir.
Because that's a huge deal.
Yeah.
It's our rival, and
Nope,
it doesn't seem
yeah.
like, and you're wearing your colors right now? What are we wearing your colors right now?
We should warn you.
But that being said,
No,
and that's our senior night as well, and so.
No, I talked to my boss this morning regarding it, he did bring up that game as well. That's what we're gonna do, even if we have to throw manpower at it.
Okay. Now, when we talk about a manpower ad, is that something at somebody's cost, or do you guys own that?
No, we do the cost on manpower.
All right, so we're good for the 25th,
Yes, sir.
for Edgar.
Yes, sir.
All right, man.
It's on you, Brody.
Even if I have to come down myself.
Well, it might happen. So,
Is there any kind of expedited shipping y'all can do?
That's what we did, because originally they pushed us into November.
Okay.
So November, like, no, we can't have that.
Okay, just wondering if there's any way
and,
I can send Mr. Off just to get him.
well, what is this, and just out of curiosity, I don't know what our pricing was on these things. But is there any type of reimbursement? Is there any type of look at, at the fact that, obviously you guys are being used many times throughout this project. And the potential is you may bid on future projects.
No, we can definitely bring that, I could bring that up from my boss.
I would like somebody to consider,
Some kind of a discount or I'm sorry about the 4 months.
it happens.
Yeah.
It happens, but,
No, we can definitely.
unfortunately, we usually end up holding the end, the bad end of the stick here. And we appreciate you taking the time to come down here and talk with us. You probably lost, should have probably been here, but, what's your title? What do you?
Well, I was the project manager.
Oh, okay, tell us, you're the guy right there.
I stepped down because of, there's just.
Okay, no, that's okay, that's all right.
So,
Next
now I'm
time.
a field supervisor, so I can run around.
Perfect, no, I get you, I just didn't know,
Yeah,
your boss might throw you under the bus, but.
that's me.
But that's cool, no, we appreciate you taking the time to come down and listen to us, and, we're always fair, we just expect it in return, that's a huge, that's
No, I-
a 4-month flag, and that's honestly, it's unacceptable.
No, I agree.
And so we appreciate you coming down, and we definitely would appreciate you talking about the cost and with Mr. Snyder and John, and just kind of figure out where we can make it right. And, hopefully if we can make it right, we don't have to worry about future business.
No, we can definitely do that.
Perfect. You guys have any questions for me?
No, thank you.
We have one? Thank you. Would you travel from Albuquerque here? You're not going back tonight, are you?
No, let's wait till November. They'll be coming back at midnight on that.
Yeah, no, it's not worth all that. Well, thank you, we appreciate your explanation as well, and we definitely look forward to hearing back from yourself or your boss or whomever about the financial component. Awesome. All right.
Sure, sounds good. Speaking of the schedule, I have just what was shown last time, as far as all the projects go, and still trying to finish up a couple items on the auditorium, and I've got some pictures and some upcoming items to discuss. We've got softball parking. We've got a change order that was done last time to install artificial turf. I don't know if that's I'm sorry?
It's complete.
It's complete, okay, so there you go. Athletic concession, they're still working on that. You can see we've kind of added a little more into that. Hopefully it won't go into the next year as we have shown there. Looking like November, by the end of this year, everything should be complete on the athletic fields, correct? So maybe the pavers.
The pavers and the retaining wall.
The retaining wall might bleed into the next year. Security vestibule, you can see some of that work's been done. They had to flatten it out and make it level with the rest of the building for handicap access. And so we'll be adding a rail and then enclosing that vestibule out there. Working on the baseball restroom addition. Do we have an update on the line that was running through the?
It was dead, and we've got a hot tap put on it, and it's cut out.
Okay.
I've notified Ramirez, they're just trying to get it back on their schedule, get it back over and start on the pad.
So it's been about a month and a half of kind of a hold up on that line, making sure that it wasn't live and not just tapping into it. So there's a little bit of.
You didn't just put a hose on it and use a drill like you talked about? You see how slow I was?
Elementary edition, it's looking like we are on pace for 6/1/25. Junior high edition is probably going to be lagging behind that a little bit. Bus barn, storage building, I've got some presentation material on that later. And then the indoor athletic facility actually bids finally September 4th. And at our pre-bid, we had the most general contractors we've ever had, which is 4. So we had 4 general contractors. We had Bradbury Stam, James, Lasco, and then 7B construction. So a lot of people looking at it, a lot of people excited about it, asking questions. So hopefully we'll get a really competitive price and a high quality bid.
Pass that on to your friends up there.
There you go. Told them to sharpen their pencils.
I'm gonna refrain.
This is showing the inside of the concession restroom area. So behind us at the athletic field is the concession, and then we're looking at the entry to the bathrooms here. You go to the left is the football field. To the right would be where the new indoor athletic field would be located. So you have this nice larger air-conditioned area while you're waiting for your popcorn.
Is that John right there?
Yeah, that's a nice shot. And Johnny's got the same hat and glasses.
And Mr. Cervantes did tour it since these pictures.
Okay.
Yeah. He came with me the other morning to see everything.
Yeah, and I think the pictures of the toilet partitions are in, the bathrooms are almost fully complete. They're 99% complete. There's a little tile work that needs to be done in the locker rooms, but the locker rooms have lockers. The kitchen and concession has cabinets and workspace, so it's moving along well. So you can see that was that little part that Robert was talking about, finishing up with brick. And since then, they've installed the structure that will hold up the scoreboard. You can see the back of the stands. They're gonna wrap, this is gonna be metal panel that wraps the top part of this, and then a lot of storage underneath where the gators and all the track equipment can be stored underneath the stadium. Then this is the support for the press box here, but that's where they'll be adding the new press box onto the stadium. Elementary school, photo from the back end, you can see that the elevator shaft is now installed. And I think all of the steel except what hovers over the existing elementary school is in place. So they'll have to schedule a time when school is not disrupted to finish the area that is within the existing hallway of the elementary school. I think a couple classrooms get a new column as well. Photos of the junior high, like they said, there hasn't been as much progress here because they've been in a mad dash to finish up the athletics and to finish up some of the other projects that have been going on, such as the locker room at
The grade right there is, so in the drawings, obviously there's quite a step down. Is that the real grade in both of them?
Yes, so I want to say it's about 6 feet lower. So it'll be similar to the elementary school where you have a deck where you walk out and then there's stairs that go down.
Right.
And then all of this will be like a learning stairs, built-in seating where students could hang out there and eat lunch, or they could sit there during a presentation inside of the commons. And so, yeah, that's,
That'll be on the side of the commons area, will just be stairs you can sit on.
Yeah, I just couldn't remember in the renderings if it just had just a little stepway or walkway.
I don't think
I see it, it is kind of like what?
yeah, I don't think I have the renderings at the end of this, unfortunately. It's quicker this way. There's the baseball, there's the pipe that we can finally get rid of and move on. Oh, yeah. All right, so the auditorium, there was a few things that came up in the last week of getting everything installed, and one of those was curtain color. So a long time back, all of the samples came in. We sent emails about different colors of samples and we got a response. When they actually got installed, they were installed with this color here, and this is the actual install color. This is the renderings that show them quite a bit darker. This is the sample of the darker one that they have. And so we also showed them, in the drawings, we showed them longer on the sides. And so LASCO is saying, okay, we can take care of replacing these because we ordered them and installed them at the wrong length. The thing that was really not on them was the main curtain at the front. And so the main curtain at the front, to change it to this darker blue, is about $61,000. Yeah.
Curtain?
Curtain, well, it's a stage curtain that's fireproof, that's thick, that's gonna last, 50 years. So yeah, right now, we're considering, to make the curtains match the chairs, do we wanna look at that added expense of changing them all to that color with LASCO covering I don't know how much the cost of these might even know.
Like 38.
So he was gonna cover the 38,000 for these windows to change those. They can keep the same color and match the lighter blue, or they can change them to the darker blue that matches the chairs. And so that's I think Brian's recommendation is to try, if we're gonna change out the sides and LASCO's gonna eat the 38,000, then on the front curtain, do y'all wanna go ahead and change it out at an expense of $61,000?
So I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus.
Yeah.
But you said that was that wasn't not LASCO's fault. I don't mean to say that word, but the stage curtain, what happened?
So what happened is I got the samples, I took a picture, and I sent them to Brian, and I said, hey Brian, I got the samples here. Do you want to go ahead and pick one, or do you want to meet in person to look at it? He said, no, I think I'm good, let's go with this.
So what you do is you just point it.
So when it showed up, So when it showed up, it was like, this is not what I picked.
Gotcha.
And,
Yeah.
and it
This is
was,
not the same one.
when I go back and look at the picture, it looks darker in the picture for sure. So it shouldn't have been selected, and that's on me too. I shouldn't even given the option. I should have drove down and said, here, look at these.
And then there was no color boards like there has been.
Right. There should have been color boards that had the curtains and that had the carpet.
An extra sample of
So-
the
So what I'm hearing is the two of you need to come
Yeah.
to an agreement.
So Ed, you're not alone, just so you know, you're now in company.
It's not all.
So it was 2020. So there was a lot of in-person processes that didn't happen as much early on.
Can't blame COVID forever.
I know.
So basically, we're looking at about $61,000 or $62,000.
Right.
For a new curtain.
For a new front curtain on the stage.
Well, if we're gonna make that into the labor and everything.
Yeah, that includes labor and everything, so that's for taking down the old one and putting up the new one, and I guess y'all would have a backup curtain if you needed it, that was the wrong color. So,
We're gonna wrap on it and bury on it.
Just trim it, roll them up in it.
3 of them, 1, 2, 3.
Or we can get a bunch of blue dye and just.
so yeah, I think this is the board meeting of credits and issues, so you're following right in line. So that's one for y'all to consider. We don't have an action item. I know they kind of need to know if they want to order it, and we can just finish up the auditorium. All right.
Are you saying you're tired of the auditorium, Dylan?
No, we're saying Brian is tired of still working on a project that was supposed to be done in April. So we understand that, we want to get it finished for sure. Okay. Number 2, installed in the last week before it opened. You can see in the rendering, we show blue carpet. Blue carpet in the aisles here, blue carpet in the cross aisles. This is what was installed in the main aisles, which is a gray carpet. This is another finish issue, and this one is completely on us. Our interior designer, for some reason, scheduled gray carpet, and when it got reviewed by the schedule. And she said, okay, well, this is what was originally picked, and so it was approved as gray carpet. Brian never saw this. Brian wanted blue. I thought blue was going in. So that's fully on us, and that's $61,000 to replace all that carpet, and Park Hill is willing to credit our fee on that to give that to y'all for the blue carpet. So we just want to make sure that y'all want blue carpet going down those aisles.
I think it's much better than that gray, because
Yeah.
that gray is.
It's just
dirty and
and it just kind of washes
everything out.
Yeah, this is
Gives you some depth.
This is a really classy facility, and the gray carpet doesn't rise to the same.
And if you'll notice, the curtains look like above a kitchen sink. You know, they don't look like they should be
Right,
in an elegant environment. So that's why, if you look at the top picture, is to pull it all together. If you do those two things, that will make the difference. Right, curtains and if we replace those without the front one, I mean, we don't have to replace the front one, but it would be really good.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be noticeable, especially if you do different colors.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, well, we can move forward with the carpet and the credit on the carpet, and then with Lasco's credit on the curtains, and then the last thing that we were considering, and this wasn't, oops. I don't know, 3/4 of the way through, we talked about trying to make these different colors and light up. And right now there is a light, and I'm talking about these the cow wall skylights right here. There's a light in that hallway, but they really don't light up at night. And so to make those really glow, and am I right or wrong, glow in different colors? Or do you remember if it's just one color or different? For some reason I thought we were talking about doing different colors.
Colors, Socorro with the electric sink,
Right.
they do either kind of fish.
Okay.
It didn't matter to him.
Right.
Those LEDs, a lot of times they are multicolored.
Right.
And you just set them on white. Yeah, but you.
Okay, so to get it to light up at night and glow, it's about $17,000. So that was one of the remaining items that I wanted to get y'all's pulse on. All right, all that, before you make your decision, this is kind of, so back in 2022, when we received all the bids, the bid was about 7.56 million plus gross receipts tax gets us at about $8 million in construction, and then you add the soft cost, furniture, fixtures, and equipment, and owner's contingency, we were at a budget of about $10 million overall. By January 2024, we'd had multiple change orders for some of the light rigging and some of the controls. And we had said, well, if we zero out furniture and we zero out contingency, then we might be able to get close, but we're still gonna be over. And at that time, y'all said, no, let's not zero out the furniture and equipment and everything. Let's leave a little bit there so that we do it right. And so we raised the overall project cost to 10.35. So when I went back and looked at all of the final costs, LASCO's schedule of values actually has gross receipts tax listed in the middle of the schedule of values. And so I was showing the gross receipts tax on top of LASCO's bid. And so what that means is that LASCO's current price with all the change orders, instead of being this 2.2 with the 6.2, is actually 2.2 with the 5.8. You add their gross receipts tax that's already included in their number, and they're currently at 8.7 million with everything that's been added over time. And so what that does is actually you can take the current overall budget back down to 10 million, and you still have 226,000 in your contingency, and then I put 50,000 here for your furniture, fixtures, and equipment, because really we're just talking about lobby furniture, a couple benches, and then chairs in the back. And so the lighting, the sound, even the cameras and security system were added at this point where you don't have to pay another person to come in and finish it off. And so right now the project is actually under the 2022 overall budget based on that. So it was kind of, sometimes those things go in the opposite direction where gross receipts tax, has to be added on top, but it was shown in two different locations. So right now you actually have about 226,000 in your owner's contingency. I don't think the furniture hasn't been purchased yet, has it, Ryan? I know we showed or gave recommendations on what you could purchase. I don't think it's been trigger's been pulled because we thought we were 350 over the original 2022, and we were going deeper in the hole.
So we were gonna do it one at a time.
Yeah. So kind of some good news, and if you're considering, the 60,000 for the curtain or the 17,000 for the cowl wall, you're still would be under this $10 million budget that was established in 2022.
Well, it's taken us 8 years for you to come to us with lower numbers.
I know, it's hard to come with these. I don't want to come with these. I'd much rather come with that. So yeah, and the good news is too, that this GRT calculation is on the elementary school and the athletics. So there will be some savings there as well, where these overall budgets go down by about 7%. And so there has been things like the press box that come up. I think we'll still be able to be within the $15 million budget at the athletics now that we know that the gross receipts tax is included in their schedule of values. So that's kind of good news. Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
So I guess, did y'all have any other questions or thoughts on the auditorium?
So I know it's not an action item because it's not really on the agenda, but
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be because it's within our contingency.
Exactly, that's what we kind of came back to that going, but we want to let the board know what happened.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're not ever, if you can look at it yourself and see.
Right.
Yeah, we thought it'd be better to be honest and tell you,
Yeah.
tell y'all what's going on and what happened.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
So in other words, as we can go ahead with both of those upgrades, the power lights and.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was still
Under
under
budget, correct. Okay, now.
We'll get it back from us someday.
There we go.
These are your projects, so you do as much or as little, just give you the information. Storage building, across the street along with the parking lot, we've been working on that. It has grown to better meet your needs. So at one point, it was 1,000 square foot, and it was kind of tucked back here. It's gonna use the mouse to stay out of your way. So it was about 1,000 feet, and then it was just kind of tucked back in this area. The more we talked about what needs to be stored there, the amount of paper, the amount of deliveries, they said we really need more areas. We need some areas that are conditioned, so that if there's something that's delivered that needs to be air conditioned, that it doesn't get ruined. And so we're gonna have a couple of bays that are air conditioned, and then the rest that are not. But this went from about 1,000 square feet to 2,000 square feet, so the size doubled. It's not a huge building, so it's not a great jump in price, but it is more than what we had previously. And show you, it's gonna be a pretty simple building. It will have brick that matches the admin and the elementary school with stucco above, and then a metal panel roof where it shouldn't scream, come here, you know, I'm a main building, but it should kind of blend in with the rest of your campuses. Yeah. Any questions on the storage building? All right, and then the bus barn, there hasn't been a whole lot of changes. We did add a grease interceptor from the wash bay, for the wash bay. And then we added, this is a outdoor covered metal building, looking at adding a concrete slab out there and then enclosing it to where it would be enclosed storage. Was this one of the ones you worked on before? For some reason I was thinking this metal building back here was one that Lasco installed for y'all a while back. But anyway, so this would be a new concrete slab and then enclosing that's where they would have more enclosed storage versus just covered storage. And then new seal coat in this area. I think we were already planning on doing that. The only change, I think we're looking at whether this is concrete or whether this is asphalt. And I think the preference for the amount of traffic going in and out of here was to do this as concrete just for the life of the building. And I think
There's a really good rendering that you have at the end. That's really cool. So you can see the exact layout.
so this is the metal building that's back there, and this would show enclosing it, adding a man door, and then adding an overhead door. This is your existing building that would be renovated and add another overhead door for an extra bay to work on cars. There wasn't much work going on in here, but this is the whole 4-bay addition that connects to that existing building. And once again, we're showing this one to be out of brick to match the quality and hopefully last 70 years like your existing one has, 70 years plus.
I'm sorry, the rendering you had before that, the one before this, in front of the new 4-bay, is that showing asphalt or concrete?
Yeah, that's currently showing asphalt.
It should be concrete.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, concrete. Also, the asphalt over there should be concrete, right? For the Suburban Park.
Right here.
Right. And we're just gonna concrete all of that right there. And that was in a meeting about,
I think it happened pretty recently.
4 or 5 days ago.
Okay. Yeah, so they sent me a list, they sent me this plan, but they also sent me a list of what changed from that meeting, and I just, the plan doesn't reflect.
Oh, that's okay, I just wanted to.
But no, that's a good catch.
Good catch.
Yeah. Cause if it's not, the asphalt should be extra reinforced, and once you get to that, you might as well use concrete. All right, let's see. So right now, we're showing the parking lot and storage building at about 1.75 million. The indoor athletics is at 28, the bid's due September 4th, so we'll see what that actually comes in at. Bus barn addition and renovation, I think it was showing 7, and we're at about 8 now, with closing that building and adding concrete. Auditorium steps, we haven't done a whole lot of work on this, we were waiting on grading. I assume that's something you'll still wanna pursue, trying to clean that all up, possibly remove the steps and remove all those kind of weird railing around and just make it flat if possible.
American Ninja over there.
Yeah. So, junior high courtyard, all those things that we pulled out when the funds haven't been transferred over. Now we're looking at putting it back in, the pickleball court, the greenhouse, all of the paving. So hopefully by the next board meeting, we'll have all of the junior high courtyard pricing back, and then we'll also have the indoor pricing. And so you'll be able to start looking at, at those two larger projects. And then we're working on the elementary playground additions, renovations. This is bumped up quite a bit as well. We're looking at adding restrooms out at the elementary, because right now for them to get from the playground back to the restrooms is kind of a hike into the school. So we're looking at some. Yeah, exactly. So some that are directly accessible from the playground. And so once we get that kind of worked up, we'll probably end up matching the design of some of the ticket booths and some of it, because I think it'll fit almost more in with the athletics side where we're going to put it versus the elementary. But we're working on that as well. So a lot going on. But thankfully, I mean, these are a lot of things that have been on y'all's list for a long time.
Yeah, that elementary playground was a big issue, even if we hadn't touched any of it. It was a perfect opportunity to take care of it.
Yeah.
Put some more area in it, because all it was a hill, basically.
Right. So this will level it out, and it'll put a fence around it and
expand it around a little bit.
give a bathroom.
I think it was actually been talked about when we built the school.
Yes.
That we probably have to do it when we address the stadium.
Yeah.
Because it just wasn't sufficient then.
Trying to think if there's, I think all I have is the schedule. Is there any questions about projects?
When the indoor athletics come back, because that's what's going on with September 4th, and you're saying you have approximately 4 agents that are interested in doing it. This has been so long, I can't really remember how those, obviously you guys look at the bids and such, but is that something that the board reviews as well?
Yeah, we haven't had to, because we've only got one bidder in a while. So there's a competitive seal proposal criteria that was established a while back when we first did a competitive seal proposal that establishes criteria, and I think, don't hold me on the exact percentages, but about half of it is based on the price. And then a certain percentage is based on your experience with the similar facility. And then another, say, 20% is based on your experience just as a contractor and reviews and stuff from previous clients. So it gives you the ability to not only, like, the price is a big part of it, but it's also, can you build this to the quality and to the schedule based on your prior work?
And way back a decade ago, y'all did go over them to see.
Well, that's when you chose Parkhill.
And so it'll be all the differences and then a recommendation.
Right.
Okay, I didn't know.
And it still has the better end of the New Mexico preference.
Y'all will see all of that. You'll see stuff you haven't seen in a long time because there wasn't any other competitors.
Well, I remember doing it when we chose you.
Right.
He said Bradbury Sam,
Yeah.
there was a picture of it
Yeah.
in my head.
They actually had a really good proposal, but
They
we
did.
chose you.
Yeah.
But they did have a good proposal.
They were a very close second.
That's all in the past. I'm talking about the future.
Last was a bit. We're chopping ourselves up in minutes.
We're getting there, and we are wrapping up things, and hopefully before we get some of these others started, we'll get the auditorium and the athletics off off construction and start working on some of these new projects.
As long as we have our seats by the time that the indoor facility is built.
Right.
That's a 2-year construction. Get this back here. I don't know, I'm showing my F shut. Oh, there you go.
All right. So next meeting should be a pretty big one then with.
Yes, yeah, and I think, once we receive the bids, we'll be able to, kind of let y'all know, I think a little bit before, sometimes we've gotta go through and qualify and make sure everything's for sure covered and make calls for references.
Sure. Is there going to be, or should you recommend there be a special meeting specifically for choosing? Or, because I think that's how we did, it's been a long time ago.
Yeah,
I think that's how we did it
no, I think
before.
you're right, it might be good to go ahead and schedule, we can schedule a couple, normally you select a couple of board members to be a part of the selection committee.
Yeah.
Like Brian and us could be a part of that ranking and recommendation.
Okay. So, and that would be, should we plan on that before?
Yeah, it'd be good
this meeting?
Probably at least a week and a half, well, if we receive on the 4th, let me look on the schedule, so that we can potentially rank the next week.
RJ, let's get all of our dates together and we'll get
Yeah.
on that, and see when it would be good to bring them in. And then whatever, I'll just solicit everybody. What's right, wants to be on that committee right now? Is there anybody? Board members?
Yeah, I mean, I think we could,
two.
yeah, we just need two, but if you guys want to be on it, for sure. Yeah, okay, perfect.
Okay, that'd be fine.
Yeah.
Me and Amy, so I'll contact them directly.
Okay.
And then we'll go through the process.
Yeah, I can bring an Excel file with a rubric and all that, and we can rank them up.
Awesome.
Alright, we'll get further again on that. And, Jim, addition of Ms. Colmore staff.
Oh, yes.
If you would like to.
Yeah, we can, are you good, are you done?
Yeah.
Any other questions for RJ? Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Drive safe, sure, be safe.
Y'all want cookies before you leave?
Why you giving my cookie away? Why? You don't get one.
Well, do.
Hey, Jeff, you know what?
No, I'm good.
Sure, I'll give you the bill.
Hey, no, but that's a personal question.
You was being such a crybaby, I think Chloe was in the mill.
Yeah, I haven't opened it because I don't have a cookie.
That's all it takes. Oh, let Mama take care of you. Hold on, all it takes.
You gotta be careful what you ask for.
Here you go, baby, Mama's got you.
Mrs. Colmore, go ahead. We lost our way.
No, it's good. When you're thinking about, let's do it.
Huh?
But it's all right, don't worry about it. So I had talked to you briefly about Monica and how she replaced one of our former staff members. And she was able to come, bless you, she was able to show up after all. So I'm gonna turn over the floor to her and let her introduce herself officially.
I apologize for being late. I thought it was 6 o'clock, my first board meeting, first time, you know. I've been a sub for almost 8 years, it'll be my 8th year, and I signed on to work full-time, and last year I was a permanent sub, and I have a busy day, and I'm busy. I help upstairs, downstairs, cafeteria, outside, really dismissal. I'm all over the place. I'm real busy.
You get your steps in.
Yeah, well, like I work with the STEM upstairs and with the 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders downstairs is second grade in the mornings, and then we do MLSS after that, or after lunch, I guess, which is first, second, downstairs, but yeah, I'm all over the place. But She works with all of our I do, I work with all the, like, I know everybody, just about to learn all the kids' names, I've been there long enough, I've seen them leave. My first ones are freshmen now, I ever subbed with.
Oh, wow.
Long-term stuff is for Miss Smith, so,
Right.
yeah, I just can't quit working. I should come back and do something with myself.
There you go.
We appreciate that.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it. I apologize for miscommunications. We were eating supper.
She's wonderful, and you say I need you to cover this, she will go and do it, or I'm sorry, but I have to change your plans, she will go and do it, she's such a trooper.
That's
Very fortunate to have her.
Okay, so I think we're good on our, thank you, ma'am. Updates. We're good on all of our updates. Head over to item number 8, our new business. We have to approve the 24-25 hotel surcharge. We have to do that every year. It's $215, and that's our maximum for our.
Yeah, if it's over 215, you have to have board approval. And you need to get it like a blanket, because we could do it for each one, but sometimes, so for instance, I'm sending Mr. Office to a Title IX conference, because Title IX has changed and even had sexual harassment. It's got all kinds of stuff built into it now, and it's federal. And if we're not on top of Title IX, we have the information back from your company. We're working on old information on what we're supposed to do with Title IX. So unless we are up to date on it, we can't really, we gotta be careful. So that's a federal program. They don't mess around if there's a Title IX violation with that.
But that's on the hotel charge, right?
It's gonna be more than 215, but that's to say, you know, we already need it, so it brought up that point that we need to get it approved, like, in case something's over 250. That's what that is, and that's in statute, is why we have to approve it.
Do you wanna come to Jim?
No, I'm good.
Whatever.
Okay.
Do you have any questions about the hotel surcharge?
No.
No. The motion to approve $215.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor? The LGRF, local government road fund.
Okay, so you guys are just now seeing it because we just got it approved, and it was additional funding for the softball. So we just got it approved, you guys had approved the whole amount to go ahead and get it paid, we were just gonna go ahead and do it. And then the LGRF came through and said, we'll give you 191,000 and some change, or 191, 128, we'll give you that much money to pay for 75% of that project. And so we're like, okay, we'll take it, if it's a resolution that you guys still have to approve, even if it's to bring in, to accept the money back.
Right. Didn't they approve another area as well this year, or no?
No, I don't believe they've approved anything additional other than softball, now this one should be next, but I don't think there's any kind of an approval to get it paid either.
Oh, wow.
Not from the LGRF. They work on their own schedule independent of what, but we still put it in. Sometimes we don't hear back until we've already finished the project.
Right.
And that's what happened with softball.
Perfect, so we need a motion to approve this resolution for the LGRF for $191,128.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Awesome, thank you. All right, this is letter C, change order for the home spot, the new duplexes.
So if you look at Home Spot, what had happened is during our construction process, he was trying to get finished, because we're trying to get 4 new teachers, and actually like 6, I think he brought in 6 different people, those 4 duplexes, or houses, whatever they are, 4 units, that's so confusing with this whole project the whole time. There's 4 of them that are finished. And so in order to do the 4 and add carports, add the steel buildings, he put in a plain, cheap, regular carport into the initial bid that was approved.
Right.
Well, since then, I said, well, we want them to look nice, because we want them bricked, we want them to look good down there, because hopefully that's gonna develop soon. I'm hearing there's something else coming, maybe from the clinic, I don't know. But they've gotta be bricked, they've gotta be a certain square footage, and they've gotta look nice. The carports, if you see, were only $5,200, so that's still a credit for those carports. This is the remaining units, is what I'm going to have now, 730. So if you look down there at attached site built carport, those are the attached site built ones. The other ones were metal carports that were prefab that we're gonna bring in. So that in parentheses is credit for those. So they're gonna give us credit for those carports, and then we wanted the nicer ones, or I don't want the nicer ones. And then the storage building, 10 by 10. So if you look at that, that's additional storage buildings that will add to the cost of the original. And then when you look up at the top, it's additional concrete work is $8,900 added onto that quote. And so whenever you add it all together for each one, it comes out to $52,175. And I mean each one, each building, which houses 2 houses. So there's 2 houses in each building. There's 2 units. Yeah, there's 2 units. 2 buildings, 4 units. 2 buildings, 4 houses. Yeah. 2 duplexes. yes, the duplex would imply two.
So that's 52,000 per.
But in the meantime, I didn't get this quote until just the other day, we had a huge confusion about it. Because I never got the quote, he just did the work, because he knew I was wanting it done, I wanted it done. And he said, well, one solution is you just get one side done and not the other. And I'm like, okay, we'll see what the board wants to do, but I would hope that anyway, so in other words, what's already been done is already paid for, basically. And then in the second quote, they just wouldn't do the additional stuff that we got done in the first. They would do the basic, and it still wouldn't cost any more than what the board initially approved for the project. That's what.
But if we want them to look the same
as the other four,
it's gonna cost $104,000 more.
If that makes sense to you.
Sure it does.
And that's what we were trying to iron all that internally. It was like, oh my gosh, Mr. Snyder, there's no quote in place for this. And he was like, well, you didn't get it. You told me to go ahead on your word. And I said, yeah, but I've always told you, get a quote, or we can't approve it, you know. So
you send a word on public land.
Yeah, because we're not spending our own.
So basically, if you want the two additional duplexes to be as aesthetically equal.
Well, they don't kind of want it to be matched.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, I know you
Come in and butcher it up, Frankenstein it.
Yeah. Now, there's one side to the other, but but still.
Yeah, so, I mean.
Everybody can count on it.
Yes, they will.
Symmetrically.
Well, and I'll tell you, it made a huge difference once they started
When they bricked it.
Yeah, I heard a ton of complaints right when the first one in.
But that's just crew housing, that's what I got.
Yeah, I got a lot of that too, and then once it turned out, we're like, oh my gosh, there's so nice.
And just to tell you, I had the little jowl, group of nice young ladies. Yeah. They were in the corner over there, a huge booth, evidently they go over there and they meet at Cole's Diner every week. And so I walked in there and I was getting some food for staff development. And they were looking at me and they were doing this, and I just kept looking the other way, because I thought, I don't know what they're doing, I don't know what they're doing. It's like, but you don't mess with them women. Anyway, and so they finally got me to come over there and they said, we just want to tell you and let your board know, those are the most beautiful houses. Somebody actually put something here because it looks good. And they said, thank you for doing that, because this is nothing temporary, these are beautiful, and they're one of the best things we've seen added to this community in a long time. I thought we don't.
What you're telling me. Yeah.
I thought you were in trouble. Yeah, I thought I was in trouble and I was ready to take the punishment.
Well, they do, yeah, I think they do. So that being said, is it worth $104,000 to make the next ones look like it's the first? I agree. So if your board's pleasure will be the approval of $104,300.32.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? Good deal. Yeah, that's a little worth it. Okay, letter D, the elementary handbook revision, 24-25.
Which you received in your packet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'll just go over the very few changes. So on page 6, I thought I had gotten rid of this before, I swear I did, but apparently I didn't. On number 2, about the students at school, I took out the CD players and other.
You did.
We don't have, I don't know how that showed back up in there, but yes, we don't have a problem with students bringing CD players, so I took that out. And then on page 7, counselor is regularly available, and it said 1 afternoon a week and at other times if needed. I went ahead and took out 1 afternoon a week and at other times because we are now blessed with a full-time counselor in our building.
That's so awesome.
Correct, and then on page 10. So on page 10, I'm looking to page 10. I took the sentence out. In accordance to PED guidelines, all students regardless of vaccination status are required to wear a mask while in school building, on school transportation, at or and indoor schools under the event. Figure to give us a grace period from last year, so I remembered, wow, it's no longer on there.
We're all looking for something.
And then I clicked on my head, she said she removed it.
I did remove it, I didn't feel it was necessary, but if you want it back, I'll put it back, or I leave it, I guess. And then on page 13, there was a typo, I corrected it. It had an extra S in student, it says just a student, so I fixed it. And on page 15.
Can I ask a question really fast?
Sure.
And I definitely don't know what's right or what's wrong here, so you're probably better. With head lice, I just had a whole discussion with somebody that swore up and down to me that the state had removed that as allowable to be sent home because of head lice.
So they initially have to go home,
Okay,
and then, if I'm not mistaken, prove evidence that they did something to remove it. But the thing that changed is that they could come back. So it used to be you couldn't come back until you removed them completely.
Right.
But now you do have to be sent home and then some kind of treatment given, and then they can come back.
right,
Even if they still have them, they can come back.
okay. I mean, I thought we sent them home. Yeah, I thought.
Oh,
we
it
did
does,
send
it makes you itch.
Oh, it does.
That's just thinking.
But then I had to, they said, no, but the state took that out, we cannot do that, and I said. I mean,
Well, we
my
do
wife
send them
was
home.
But she's.
But the difference is they can't, used to be, you couldn't come back until they were gone completely.
Right.
That's how it should. Now they can come back if they still have them, but they've received, even if it's
So
just,
just the parents say.
even if it just went home and said, we did it with shampoo, or we saw a doctor, or we treated it with a comb, they can come back. I would rather throw
Can you send them back
up
home again or
something
not?
else. If I'm not mistaken, it's after so many days, if they're still there, then yes, we send them home again. So it's not just after one and done.
Yeah.
Correct, correct, but that's a state thing, that's not our thing. On page 15, it says, there was where it says lending books, it used to say students visit the library during RTI time. We don't do that anymore, they have regularly scheduled library times, so I took that sentence out. And
Is that for all grades, just out of curiosity? Is that for?
it is, it's for, and it says on there, K through, and then it tells you what they're allowed to check out. The thing is, that's during our time, but some classes, like first grade and one of the second grades, they'll take their students once a week down to Woolworth.
Right, yeah.
And so,
That's what I was
like, they'll have 2 library times, and then at Woolworth, again, it's by age, how many books you're allowed to check out. And what I like about that is, at the very beginning of the year, the the teachers require the parents to take the students to go get a library card. And then if not, then the teachers work with the parents on filling out the paperwork so that the teachers can get the students the library card, just in case a parent works and can't make it down there. So it's a nice collaboration between Woolworth. And then, so the other thing is, we've had, with the departmentalization, and I'll just go into, it's gonna be a little bit in my report, but you brought that up, so I'll just say it now. So we didn't have as much library time, and so Miss Lucy is helping the reading teachers in the afternoons with some of their reading things as their library time. And then somebody else has stepped up and said, well, during my time, we'll take the kids to the Woolworth so that they still get library time. May not be in our building, but it'll be at the Woolworth, so they're still getting library time and access to books. And then the other thing is that Woolworth has volunteered to work with our early students, kindergarten, first grade, and some kind of project where they're coming to our building and working with our students. So again, it's a nice collaboration that's happened here recently. And then on page 16, it was a sentence I removed about our library center taking and having encyclopedias, dictionary, atlases, and some other sources. I updated that because it does, but it's not, I wouldn't call it a resource. Since we have access to technology, we use that more of a resource. So that was kind of a misnomer. And our lost and found area was moved to the office, so that was just updated on the next sentence, so just some pretty minor things. And lastly, on page 19, again, I thought this was something that was changed. We no longer use 4-3-2-1, it's now an A, B, C, D, F. It's a letter system, so that was changed. And that was it for the handbook.
Thank you.
And I did hand this out back in, I want to say April, to a parent. And I asked the parent to go through with a fine tooth comb and said, if you see something that you don't understand, something that you don't agree with or anything like that, oh, there was one in there, took the house shoes out. And that was because the students had come to me and said, these Uggs look like shoes, but they're called house shoes. So we came to an agreement that, and then I don't know if you recall that we had started a discussion, so we came to a compromise, all right? In PE, you can only wear athletic shoes, so that was where the compromise and the give and take is. So now that was in there too, is that during PE, you could only wear athletic wear. Other than that, just minor changes.
Awesome. And then also just to add with both policies, you guys already know, but if you're new on board, they always follow board policy. So if they're gonna propose a change, they cross-reference it with existing board policy to make sure that taking that out wouldn't interfere. And if it did, if it was enough of a thing, we would come to you with a board policy change. Just to let you know, these are always a customary thing, but we always are following policy, so you don't have the handbooks operating independently of board policy, which is a disaster waiting to happen if they're not the same.
Correct, this is in
That in conjunction.
collaboration, in conjunction with, as opposed to, there's not a
So that way you'll
conflict
know.
between that process.
And we have that before.
Yes.
That would be nice. Perfect. Anybody have any questions over the student handbook? If not, we will need, there is an approval items, so we will motion to approve the 24-25 elementary handbook. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Great, thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am.
You bet, and then, so what I'll do is, since it was approved, I'll change the front page where it says revision to, and it'll say August of 2024. And then I will have Shelley update it on our website, because we no longer send these home. We just tell them in a statement to the parents at the beginning of the year that our student handbook is accessible on the job school website.
It's just that, this is off, more on the topic, I guess, but it's, what happens if they don't have internet access? Like, are we
So it
responsible for if
actually-
a parent doesn't have?
That's a great question, because when we have suggested if they don't have internet access, we always tell them that they can access the Woolworth Library. However, if I'm not mistaken, it does say that we can provide one in writing. They're at school upon request.
Okay. And in the past, Shelley has checked out iPads with internet plans on them. So like, we do use that if it gets down to that point where it's making it where they can't do assignments. And we check into it. She has done that in a few cases, just giving them a data plan iPad.
Right.
And I can do that on your iPads. We have some iPads that are capable.
Right.
And I don't know about Chromebooks, same thing? Are they?
Others don't have that
Okay.
capability. But they mostly don't take them home now, they don't really have homework up, and so they use their working class.
So we have had somebody, it's been a while, we've had somebody that asked us about, like attendance or something. And so we just said, well, you can always access the internet and the school website at the library, but if you can't, we'll provide. And we have printed copies and we've given them out. Just like I said, gave one to April, and back since you're in April, said, look this over, if you have any questions, or you see something that's not accurate or is not clear, let us know.
Perfect. I just want to make sure they have access. Cool deal. All right, letter E, flood damage.
Okay, so football field flood damage, it's never ending, it seems, with anyway, the basketball courts in the flood. Like water damage everywhere, and it hasn't rained in 6 months.
Right.
So, but if you look at that last rain we had that was torrential, that came up over the street and everything, it went onto the edge of the field, and we knew because some of the infill was over at my house, but we just kind of thought, they'll fix that, they'll come and infill it next time AK Sales. So AK Sales came and they said, that has mud caked into the fibers of the field. We have to replace part of the turf that got on that edge. So we were just thinking, it'll be fine. And it's over on the edge where kids aren't in the play area, so, but it's to the point where it also washed out some of that wood infill. I'm afraid kids will get hurt if we don't get it back up where it should be. And that's above and beyond what they normally do, after they did an assessment of it. So in order to approve it, it will be an insurance claim, but it has to be approved first, so then we can claim it on our insurance, which is a $5,000, an occurrence, or $5,000 per site for the insurance, just so you know.
Yeah, I got a question on that. Do they have to go with the wood, or can they go back with that rubber?
They can go
What's
back
the
with the
difference?
black rubber, but they have to take it out of the whole field, the temperature, it's about a 10-degree difference.
Because I've heard some kids complain that the wood gets all in their cleats and,
Yeah.
and their socks and they
It
drive.
might, but it's a lot cooler, so.
That was my question. They asked me why not.
Yeah, like, why is it wood? Yeah, so some of the other fields are not, they're.
You
You can feel the gas, it's
That
soft.
temperature playing on that?
And
Standing on it?
and it's just a little softer than the rubber too.
Well, and I know even just walking the track after dark, you can feel that heat, it just radiates.
It's still coming up out of it,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
You know what?
Tell me about-
Meet me at Fifth Street Park.
Though, it's $5,000 deductible, so we'll find this on insurance, which is stuff to approve it, you know, because we may actually write a check for it and get it done before we get our insurance check back. See,
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
so it won't be the, yes, the initial cost.
Yes.
Okay, anybody have any questions over that, since that is a big piece of this is our insurance will likely cover this anyhow, trying to set it up.
I'll make that motion. Second?
All in favor? Good deal.
I'm sick.
Wait, cookies.
That's not over yet either.
No,
You do this every time.
Job security from
Jim
jail.
told moderation.
They're working, they're working.
He does not hurt the teacher.
She's feeding with diabetes.
Yep.
He's treating it.
Job security. Okay.
Do I get a kickback? Do I get a kickback for providing? You know what?
He buys more cookies.
Okay. So, items for future discussion, is there anything the board would like to be on our next agenda? The only thing we do have to pay attention to is the nutrition policy, we have to make sure we're aware of that next year. So, let's make sure we review that in our next packet, but besides that, is there anything else that, you guys would like to have on our next agenda?
Not that I can think of, Jim, but I would like to make a comment on Buddy Little. I think he did a great job getting all the new people we had here.
Oh, absolutely.
I think he did a great job, buddy. Appreciate it.
Renee, don't be.
Throw something at everybody. No, I mean, that's a lot of experience we have in this room.
Well, and with all of those teachers between the two campuses, we had like 200 years of new people. That's almost, yeah.
Almost 200 years, like, almost.
Well,
Yeah, you know.
I am not afraid to fight you.
I always want to fight.
We said about you. Violence is not solving.
Oh, it's all something.
Yeah, both campuses, thank you guys so much. This is, I think this is gonna be a really good year.
I do too. Well, I think we were in different positions. I only had to replace one teacher.
Right.
Otherwise, I would say.
But yet you still have,
Yeah,
you still have a lot of.
We did
people that-
because we had to add several.
Well, see, you've got ELL, you've got math and reading 180, you've
We
got
added
math
some teacher, we added some new
I'm just saying
positions.
you have quite a few, right?
Right. No, I think when we talk about recruitment, I don't know that we've ever had such a strong recruitment force. I mean, it's,
No, I agree. I think that we have a pretty strong
the
staff.
amount of people that came in that are just.
And it did come from a lot of different, Mr. Little is a lot of it, but it did come from a lot of different areas. Mr. Loftus is instrumental in it. Mr. Richard was instrumental in it. I mean, they all had different people that we brought in, and of course, Mr. Little brought in the kind of foundation.
Well,
And
and,
so,
you know, but,
you
you
know,
know, you don't cut yourself, I mean, you're a piece of that too. Well, I'm just saying that.
No.
Well, I, you know, the district is starting to kind of speak for itself, you know, which didn't just get you overnight, that's for sure, so.
Salaries and housing helps a lot.
It does, and
Yeah.
that's the incentives, that's why, again, I said thank you for allowing us to bring these. We were able to bring in a couple of positions when they were valuable, and so, it's a village.
It is, right, and the only thing I, you know, which we can make an agenda for our minutes for our,
Special meeting?
Yeah.
We're here.
Yeah, we'll need minutes for that, and then she took it back.
I'll leave my desk.
And so that's,
I'm
yeah,
sorry, yes.
that's just popping on my, that was,
We'll, those next month with, please.
right, but what I was originally gonna say is, as you guys are, it seems to me that we have really tenured, seasoned people, and then we have new people. We don't have a lot of people right there in the middle. And that's a little bit, I mean, those are seasoned people, but we're talking 5 years out of them, right? I mean, you guys don't want to teach forever. I don't mean you two, I mean, you guys. I mean, the other staff, you know, they've been here 25, 30 years, they have that background. 5 years or so, and then they just gotta make sure we build the middle piece too, which is, I don't know how you do that.
We have a few that we hired that are 7 years in or more.
Right, yeah, some.
And then a few from the year before. So if we did we could do a chart so you can see how many years for each, just a chart, general, right? This is our years of experience and this is our average.
Well, I don't want you guys to have to go through extra.
No, it's not
It was
that.
just- It was just
No,
one of those
Marlena
things.
doesn't mind.
It was just one of those things that, we have a lot of new people.
Yes.
Very.
No, I kind of, now that
That
I'm
little
curious to see
piece
where
can be
we
a little bit scary. If your new ones kind of walk away or your old ones or seasoned ones retire, then you're kind of left with this really weak, you know, feeling.
Well, I think, but you guys have kind of already addressed that in that, and you've probably seen this too in the districts that you've been, is you had these people coming into teaching and they weren't staying because a big part of it was salary, a big part of it was being overwhelmed, too many students and not enough help. And we were losing these people to the oil field or to other careers. And I think that you guys have kind of addressed that with the 4-day and the housing and the salary. And I think we've made it a little hard for local.
And we've even got we've got the other two entities in town which are expanding too, the city and the clinic. We have to compete with that to a point, because our new ones, Ms. Comar's really good at bringing in the new ones, and bringing in those young kids to get their degrees. And there's several of us working on their degrees all the time.
Yeah.
And that's really neat to see, because it's kind of the incubator or the nursery of the school, so to speak, is those new ones coming into the system that we really can't use at high school yet because they're not old enough.
You're in a good situation because you pay a lot, you have good housing, and so you're able to recruit, not just take what's out there.
Right.
And so if it's somebody that's gonna give you 5 years, you want the best person you have in there, if it's not 5 years.
No question.
And I think you get somebody else, then maybe somebody gives you 5 more years.
Right, yeah, that's a good point too.
In the meantime, he's right, we do really do a grow your own. We,
Yes.
we talk to him when we interview, what is your 5-year goal, what's your 10-year? And those that say, I've always wanted to work with kids, or I enjoy working with kids, or I thought about going back to school. The 3 that I hired, 2 of the 3 young ones just out of high school, 2 of them want to go back and get their teaching degree.
Nice.
And so, that's the other thing that you look for.
And if we were to look at elementary staff in high school, we would probably, I'd like to see it, but it probably evens up that middle a little bit. Because the high school is way lopsided on experience, but elementary, a lot of middle teachers that are in the middle of their career. You think about each one, there's a lot of them that are in the middle. They're not retirement age and they're not just new. So and that's a good point to look at that data, in my opinion.
Yeah, how many do we have going to USW right now that we've signed up? 7, 8?
7, 8, and some of them, even that LEAP program, that's phenomenal, because it took a teacher that we would have got otherwise that was a chef, and now she's got a 1-year pathway to a teaching degree. Which usually takes 2 years. She's good, by the way. And she's really, that's awesome.
But Coral, my 3-year-old, my teacher that is
Yes, she
raising a
will.
3-year-old, she has her master's in criminal justice. And
Yeah.
so she worked with juvenile
Right.
students,
Yeah.
delinquent
Yeah.
students in Albuquerque.
Keep your mouth shut.
She'll try to teach.
And now she's working with 3-year-olds, that students, so, you know. But she's going back to get her teaching degree.
Yeah.
Oh, she's very positive, very full of energy, but she's going back to get her
Yes.
teaching
And
degree.
the culinary teacher skinned a bell pepper in about 3 seconds and freaked me out. So I mean, it was like, I'm not messing with her. She took a bell pepper, she took a bell pepper in about 2 seconds, it was, like, how did she, it was all chopped up sitting there. I'm not messing with her. Those kids are like. She's like.
And we didn't know how to chop up pepper correctly, did we?
No, I keep like, pop, and I'm hitting it with the back of the knife, and this lady. And I was like, can you do that again?
We can turn it
I had no idea what he said. Yeah, no, it was the bell
It's
pepper.
good cover.
Yes.
You just said it very quickly.
Yeah.
It's a bell pepper, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, that was pretty cool. All right, so, we'll let everyone talk. Next meeting, principal work. However you want.
Rock, paper, scissors.
We got halfway through this.
You did. So class enrollment for us was 286, and then we got 2 4-year-olds today, so we are at 288. Our 4-year-old program, we have 1 space left, and then after the 1 student addition, we'll have to have a waiting list. Our grant is only for 35 students, we're at 34. We've had 54 new student applications, but that also, keep in mind, we lost 30 when our 35th graders went to junior high. That is the 4-year-olds that have come in that weren't in our 3-year-old program, that's 3-year-olds. Oh, and our 3-year-old program, we're waiting on 4 more to transition, and we'll be pretty full in our 3-year-old spot too. Our smallest class is 37 and our largest class is 50. 50. We, there isn't, let's see, I've got my class enrollment. So our kindergarten is at 37, our first grade's 42, second grade's 42, third grade's 36, and 4th grade is 50, and then the 5th grade was at 43. When this is off. So we're averaging in the 40s, and you can definitely tell it at breakfast and at lunchtime. We started last week with our iStation testing, that's our state testing. That's what we do monthly, and hopefully, we have some good news that our 3rd through 5th can use our MAPS testing instead. Beginning of the school year, our teachers went through their trainings, first aid, CPR, and then of course our CPI, the crisis prevention training. We had our fire drill a couple days ago with the fire inspector and the fire department, and everything looks good, so we feel like our students are prepared. K through 2 teachers, we have the same as we did last year, but now we make sure that in every class, we have somebody that can speak Spanish, so somebody be able there to communicate with the number of students that we've received that don't speak English, and with translations in parent meetings. So the way we worked everybody, every class has somebody that can translate if it's needed. 3rd through 5th grade, we departmentalized this year, and that was an opportunity to work in specialty areas with our teachers and their strong suits. And the way that we, like Mr. Willman, we use him from the junior high, he comes in and it's an extra math teacher. So that he has a class in 3rd, 4th, and 5th, so that we made our math classes just a little bit smaller. Nice. And then we brought in Jackie, who will be working and monitoring our Math 180. So she's an extra tutor that will be working with students. So I'm telling you guys, I appreciate what you guys have allowed us to do, because I'm excited about the changes that we're going to see, not just in reading, but in math too. And then that also gives us a chance on the interventions to be able to work with smaller groups, so that students that are struggling get the additional help. Students that are in the middle, maybe we can bump them up. And then the students that are advanced, we're not busy, teaching to the middle or teaching we can challenge them. So I'm excited about that. It also gave us an opportunity to use somebody like Marcy Betts, who wanted to do more with STEM.
And so now she's got a STEM program going that's working with the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade students. And I'm gonna mention it, I don't know if this is in Betty's report, but Coach Estrada, and it's not in mine because it just happened this morning.
Yeah, he just
So
called
Coach
me.
Estrada came to me and said that the Lego League idea that we had talked about last year is coming to fruition, and that is, we'll have a Lego competition here in JAP. And it will be the 5th, the 6th, and I believe the 7th grade, is that correct? It'll be the 5th, 6th, and the 7th grade. They'll have a Lego League competition here in JAL. We'll be able to invite some other schools. We've already started it. The date will be in December. And so we'll use the cafeteria, we'll use the gym, we'll use some classrooms to do something that's similar to what they've done with robotics, but it will be
And
like.
Mr. Estrada will be helping to head that up.
Correct, so Coach Estrada will be heading it up, and then Ms. Butts, who takes care of the Lego League on the elementary end, will also be working with him. And the thing is the Lego League at elementary was always a volunteer, it was after school, it always happened during Christmas, but with the extra help that we've gotten, now we'll be able to do that in school. So every 5th grader will be able to participate in the Legos teams. So we are excited about that. The other thing that came about with this is moving Miss Monica Butts, because they're both together, moving Monica to help the STEM program. So now we've broken that up into some keyboarding classes. And so there'll be times where, and we're working with Shelley to get the keypads with the Chromebooks or the iPads. And Miss Monica Butts will be working with some of the students to do a little bit of keyboarding as well. And then that's freed up some time for Ms. Rodriguez to be able to work more with the bilingual students. I'm telling you more because Ms. Zavala, I don't know how she did it, but she was K through 12, the only bilingual teacher. And our high school has a teacher, and we have a teacher, and then we have Ms. Zavala. And so she will be spending more time working with the ELL students. And then the other thing is, I did talk to her, and she is also going to offer the classes to adults, like she has done 2 times a week for Spanish-speaking adults that want to learn English. So we're grateful that we have that. And then in the next few weeks, we will be starting, I had a parent that wanted to come and start. We're not gonna call it PTA or parent or PTO or anything like that. Coach Loftus and I had worked on maybe some other names, but a parent-teacher organization where it's more driven by the parents. And so it doesn't become a teacher responsibility and it's more of a volunteer thing. We did talk about calling them VIPs, very important parents. Or a very important person, because some of them it's a grandparent or a guardian. So we did call them, VIPs was one of them. Another thing that we'll have coming up in a few weeks is an adult and athlete program. It's something that I wanted to do. And it sounds like Coach Satterwhite is on board with being able to bring the athletes down to the elementary students, one as role models, and 2, for every athlete to feel like they have somebody who's cheering for them in the stands or at pep rallies. So I'm excited that we'll be starting that in the next few weeks. And then the last thing is that we will be starting a 5th grade student council. Now I say 5th grade, it's actually a 4th and 5th grade because we can't fit it into our day. So it'll have to be an after school program, and Erica Martinez will be responsible for 4th grade. 4th and 5th grade student council. And it's just to do things, you know, one of our messages at elementary is about be kind, be a buddy, not a bully, which I think is funny, it's be a buddy, not a bully. And so that's one of our big messages there. When we talk about it, talk about it. One of the things that we talked about this year is to start putting it into action. So one of the things that we had talked about, one of the projects we had talked about is, you know, in hotels where they have the little shampoos and the little, so we've got people that are collecting those and then having that organization put them together in kits and then taking them to like the women's shelter or a homeless shelter. We are ordering, used to be called a buddy bench back when I had NHS students. And anytime an elementary student didn't have anybody to play with, felt like they were outside or lonely or sad, they would sit on the bench. And then back then, the NHS students would come and play with the kids, eat lunch with them or whatever. And then if they saw a kid on the bench, kind of include them. So we are going to purchase a bench, and then we are going to encourage the 4th and 5th grade students to also do that, to be a friend. And then, of course, is our message, it's the Panther way. We want them to be a friend because it's the Panther way. We want them to be helpful because it's the Panther way. Be kind because it's the Panther way. And we've done that message for the past 3 years, and now it's time to put action to it. So that's what we're doing. Yes.
Thank you. Any questions? No, okay.
Any questions? All right.
No. All right.
How many pages is this?
Yeah. Right. See, and I.
Hey, Okay. So at the junior high and high school, we got an outstanding start to the year. Students numbers, we have junior high 121, high school 155. On the back of this paper, you'll see a calendar. We've incorporated this school-wide, and so this has went out to all of our, Shelley has sent it out to all of our staff members, and it's read-only for them. Admin can make changes, but so if a teacher has something coming up and they want us to add it to the calendar, they can add it. But I live by this is what, so that everybody in the district's on the same page. Okay. And we're not overlapping elementary, high school, or junior high. We're all kind of, Ms. Comar has ability to see the same calendar, so Mr. Schneider has the ability to see the calendar. And of course, they can add to it, the staff can't. And of course, I have my meetings and stuff to it. But anyways, the rest of this week, the 19th, we have, of course, the school board meeting today. We had a safe schools training today. We had an athletic meeting today. Tomorrow, I have a meeting with Mr. Loftus out in the morning. Tomorrow evening, if you would like, we have volleyball for you, JV and varsity. It's Lovington here. 7 o'clock Wednesday evening, we have a senior parent meeting. We're gonna try to get them all on the same page and, you know, make sure they know what's going on and make sure that we get everything taken care of for seniors throughout the year. This mentor training is, Mr. Estrada is doing his mentor for administration and I'm his supervisor, so I'm gonna do the training there. Thursday, Friday, we have a football game against Dexter. Eunice tournament Friday and Saturday for volleyball, and a junior high football game that was at Loving, now it's at Jow, 10 o'clock Saturday morning. I go through all of this to show you that we did a lot going on, so.
Who's in the administration mentor program right now? Sorry, Mr. Child? Mr. Child, okay. Yes, sir. Yeah, so that'll get you through August. If you want to use that as a reference, there you go. Our elected classes, back to the first page. Systems Go, which is our Rockets program. We have 2 classes. We have one with 7, the other has 11. Industrial Arts, which is our shop out there, we have 14, and this is high school numbers, 14, 14, 13, and 6. We have 4 of those classes. Culinary Arts, we have 14, 6, and 14. Digital Journalism, which is the last period, we have 13. Weights, we have 29, 21, and 28 in 3 of those classes. Spanish, I didn't have that on here, but we have 27 in Spanish, 1 class, 6 in the other. And then we have junior high classes, and they're all around 20 to 25, just because, of course, they don't have a choice at junior high. Yeah, these are elective classes, so. The back to school cookout, I estimated that we served about 300 of the hamburger patties that we bought. All students picked up schedules that showed up and entered, necessary for attendance, so they're getting online and they're entering this online. If they're students from the previous year, then they get online and they do all of their attendance stuff as far as registration goes. And typically we have 100 and something left is what I was told whenever school starts, that be getting those parents to come in or fill out those things online. This year we only had 30 something left after that, so I think that was very helpful to have that back to school.
Feed them and they will come. That's right.
Yeah. Sorry?
Feed them and they will come.
Yes. And hand out their schedules.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes a big
That was a
And
really
so-
good time.
It was, and all of the secondary staff showed up, except for one, and he did have a a good reason. His air conditioner had went out during the day and his phone wasn't on, so I was really upset with that phone. So we had to work on that. And I just wanted to say I appreciate everyone that helped. There's a lot of people there that helped. Mr. Snyder cooked a lot of hamburgers that day. So, yeah. And then athletic wise, we reconstructed the athletic program. We're doing junior high practice in the morning and high school practice in the afternoon. That's working really, really well. And that frees up gym space in the afternoon, especially during basketball season. Gets those junior high kids home early. And at the same time, it gets the high school kids home early because during basketball season, they're not having to have a 6 o'clock practice and getting home at 8 o'clock for that. Working really, really well. Just so that you know, volleyball coach did move up 3 8th graders to participate in high school volleyball. And just so that's on your radar. That's another thing we're looking down. Wasn't on there, and I can't see, sorry.
I'm the other way.
Yeah. We're talking about homecoming this week. We're gonna be voting on homecoming king and queen this week, actually tomorrow. And I hope if you're on Jazz School's page on Facebook, you'll see that we're putting a lot of stuff on there. Caroline does a great job on that. I just sent it to her and within like 30 seconds, it's already on Facebook. We do have Lego classes at the high school, and 6th and 7th graders are both enrolled in Lego classes, which has to do a lot with robotics. It's not just putting Legos together. There's actually design to build the robots and stuff.
And theme for that year.
Yeah. And so we're really going to try to compete hard in that. We're going to try to win it. We're going to try to get into some academic competitions through New Mexico State and through the local RAC here and compete against a lot of schools academically, not only athletically. MAPS testing, we've conducted MAPS testing at the junior high school. And I've been in every classroom every day, pretty much every class period. I don't spend much time in the office. I really believe, an old horse trainer taught me this. He said that 10% of people do what you expect, 90% of people do what you inspect. If you think about that, there are those, you think about when you're in school, there's about 10% of the kids really, teacher didn't have to tell them to do that, they just did it on their own. Same with teachers, it's the same way with employees and your businesses. I guarantee you that 10% of them, you don't have to say anything to them, they're gonna get the job done. 90% of them, you're riding their butt all the time, you're watching them, making sure. So if you're just seeing a lot, it makes a big difference, and our staff is doing a great job. I haven't been in a single class where a single person hasn't been teaching. I'm talking bell to bell. Every period is structured. It's just discipline's cut down on. So I'm very, very tickled with our high school staff. I think we've got a good staff put together. Not only the staff that we had from last year, but the staff that came in. I think they're solid. Some of them's a little long in the tooth, but. Pretty good job.
And one compliment to both of these people here is I can't hardly ever catch them in their office when I call. And that's a compliment. You're never in your office, but I'm perfectly happy to go hunt them down because they're always out and about in school. And that's wonderful.
Well, people become complacent if you're not.
I mean, and I human nature. And sometimes it is frustrating when I'm trying to tell them something, but then I start thinking, wait a minute, they're out and about. They're doing the best thing ever. Yes.
I'm gonna compliment Miss Snow real quick. My gosh, I don't know who wears more hats than her in the district. My gosh.
She's gonna be able to jump.
I don't even know how she's got to play this. I'm gonna get 300 computer credits tomorrow. Okay. I'll be having a heart attack. But anyway, she does a great job. I'm not sure she gets complimented a lot. She does a really good job.
He's right, I needed a desk for Mr. Wellman, and I said, Mr. Snyder, I need a desk for him, this poor guy doesn't have a desk. And he said, you know what, talk to Shelley.
And she's thinking, how is that Shelley?
I did,
How did it the same thing with me? I did the same thing.
She had an order going already, we asked her.
She did, I said, how are you ordering furniture now? She did, she took care of it.
She's doing a good job for us, and she's one of those very good support people that's always just kind of been like right now, always back there helping us because technology is becoming more and more and more prevalent. And if with our technology money, we've been buying more technology, and it's only more and more and more, and that's where she's indispensable at this point. Whenever it comes to something even like this chat, she's gonna show me how to work it, but she's still helping out.
Our staff goal, our school goal is to be a part of something bigger than yourself, and that's on our wall over there, and I think our whole staff has bought into that.
Mr. Vanderway.
And I mean, man, they're working hard and I've really sold them on point. I think that we produce a product, that product is gonna pay for our social security someday.
That's right.
So we need to work our butts off.
And again, just a shout out to Shelley, she was at a different school for a fifth grade graduation. And so the fifth grade student council helped put that together, and I said, oh, Shelley, guess what we're doing?
I was taking pictures and just, see, we need to do this.
That's awesome.
So I love that, when you get ideas from other school districts by your own people.
I text her, she's over here working, and I'm at the clinic, I'm like, hey, I need to fix this at the clinic. She fixed it. It's very good. So if she's just not here, she's probably over helping me. Right. Thank you guys so much. Any questions for Mr. Little? No? Thank you, sir. Mr. Snyder.
All right, so school calendar update. I have added a couple of staff development days because what happened whenever we had our formula, whenever we present our calendar to Ed, it has to go through a formula. That formula was adjusted to allow for the new PED rule, which was no embedded staff development. Embedded means you can have a day and still count it as instructional, just staff it. No, without kids there, and still counted as instructional. That was under the rule before. And then they also told us we had to go to a 5-day schedule. Well, in all of the shuffle and the kerfuffle, it has to go through, of all people, Nicole, who's the business manager. So when she punches it all in, it says denied until she fills out everything and checks all the boxes in that formula. Well, we got a ruling from a judge saying you don't have to follow that. You can do whatever, you can stay on your 4-day. Well, in the process, she still submitted it to budget, and that's the calendar that you guys see today, which is basically accurate, but I was gonna add a couple of staff development days in there, which will still be instructional, which still don't require, board. You guys approved the calendar, but I want y'all to know what we're doing. So after Thanksgiving, there will be a day. There's already one after Christmas, and then after spring break, there will be a day. So I'm adding 2, one first semester, one second semester, because we have so much staff development with our 6-year study and strategic plan. We have so much staff development, and some of it is gonna have to be embedded.
Does it change the student calendar at all?
Now, it changes their hours here, but it can be embedded under the old rule, meaning it can be built into it. And so in order to get everything we need in, I just needed a couple more days, plus the one.
So they'll just have some half days?
Yes. The kids will have 2 Fridays that they don't go in, there'll be, or not 2 Fridays, but those 2 additional days will just be, kids don't come back from the holiday until Tuesday.
Oh.
Like we did last year. It's identical to last year where at Christmas, they didn't come back till Tuesday instead of Monday, because that way it gave the staff a day to come back.
Do we still have it?
There is one after Christmas already there.
But do we have, so if they don't come back on a Monday, do they have school that Friday?
Not normally, just depends on where it is in the.
So normally, when we had done the 4-day, if they were off on a Monday, they had to go to school on a Friday.
Yes, that's still there, but this is just a couple
Monday holidays,
staff
right?
development days, yeah.
Monday holidays.
Yes, if it's a Monday holiday and they go that Friday.
But if it's staff development.
Like Martin Luther King. Yeah,
but if it's,
They just get a 3-day week.
they'll just get a 3-day week. Okay, right, I'm good with it, I just
I
wanted
wanted to be clarified, yes.
just, well, because
And
parents don't know.
it will be updated and on the school website, I'm gonna look at it, confirm all the dates. And the report schedules, are they on the school website yet?
No.
Okay, well, Shelley will get.
We just said all those good things.
I know, she'll have them on there.
Well, are we gonna send out a notice to parents that they won't have school those days?
They'll change, they'll know, it's usually very well advertised, and it won't be until Thanksgiving. So we've got a lot of time to put it into the schedule. Then we'll probably put it back on Facebook, on the website, that kind of stuff. They will know, because parents were kind of still expecting it, they probably already knew from last year. And then this will just kind of align it back to.
And our Parent Square program will get to everybody immediately.
And Parent Square instant, K-12, it goes all the way.
And so we do it 3 different ways. We teacher note, Parent Square is wonderful.
Yes.
And then Facebook, because you have parents that aren't on Facebook, don't see it, but you have parents that may not have gotten a Parent Square, but what we like about Parent Square, so they don't have the excuse of I didn't get the message, because
it sends the notice according to how the parent signed up. So it says, I want my notifications through a text, you get it through a text. If you want it through an email, you get it through an email. If you want it all of the above, you get it all of the way, so.
And it's really nice, and so what we did last year is piloted it at high school, and it was just phenomenal. So, elementary staff is already with 1 or 2, they're trained for Parent Square also, correct?
No, we did Parent Square last year.
Oh, you did it last year, so.
Yes, we did
maybe
it
the year
last
before.
year.
I know high school started it first.
Yeah, well, elementary actually did it more than
It
high
was
school.
available the whole time to
Available.
both, the elementary used it, high school and junior high didn't use it this year.
Okay, that's right, they never went around, so I've required it this year, so we're gonna do that. Also, the district calendar is required. So, that was one that was last year, that was the one, last year.
Correct, we
district
didn't use
calendar
the
was
district
just-
calendar,
yeah.
just high school.
They piloted it, not.
Parent Square, we did.
Yeah, it's the other way around with Parent Square, so. Anyway, Parent Square, the Parent Square and the district calendar are required on K-12. That way our communication tools are there. Communication tools are what we've struggled with in the past, but like parents not knowing there's anyway, if the parents don't know there's an awards assembly, they're probably not gonna be there. That kind of stuff, if the parents don't know about spelling bee, they're probably not gonna be there. And we wanna make sure they know about it. And that's everything from athletics to academics. That way you guys will know. Y'all can look at it too, you're welcome to. If you need to be connected in any of it, we can connect you right into it where you'll get all the notifications.
And you did, just to kind of adjust, so last year, we did have a professional development day after spring break. We didn't put it into the calendar this year, so it's not going to be a big surprise when they say we will have a professional development after spring break, because we did it last year. We just left those 2 off because it just was dependent on what was approved, and then we needed to put those back in this year.
So that's everything you need to know and a little more about the calendar. Next, softball field camera system, parking. So we had some kids having fun, like doing donuts out there, and they're gonna do some damage if we don't do something. So I had them put parking curbs that were not in the plans. They weren't that expensive, so they're already installed. That'll kind of maybe ruin a tire or something if they decide to do it. If not, we have a camera system that's going in on the light poles that will complement the other one. The difference was the old system just recorded it into an on-site for 30 or 40 days. This system will be connected into the main campus with the satellite internet signal. So whenever there is something, I can have the officer look at the footage and so that way it really helps. It'll help the law enforcement, it'll help us. Baseball field will eventually be exactly the same way. They're able to beam it up from the places that aren't directly connected to the campus. So that way you'll know what's going on with it. New homes will be off the line at the end of October. So they are being produced right now at the end of August. So they'll be here in October, hopefully installed by January. We do have 1 teacher waiting on that. So 1 or 2 that are actually waiting for a house and that are in their first contract. That's the way our policy is. If you're within your first contract, you can qualify for a house. If your second one starts and you still didn't get one, you're still on the list. You don't just get kicked off the list, you just went into your second year.
Where are they living now?
RV and with a parent.
Oh, okay.
And the one with the parent is not sure she wants to move into one. So that's the one I don't really know about yet. So
What's wrong with kids nowadays?
I don't know.
They don't wanna move out.
They don't wanna move out.
The one with the parent kind of wants to stay and help around a little bit. So,
Cheaper.
Yeah.
so that's where we are with the housing. So you'll know. Mr. Loftus will be attending a national Title IX conference in October. And Mr. Loftus also was gone today, his 40th birthday today. He was gone to a 6-year study update meeting, and there were 3 superintendents that couldn't be there. I was the only one with the representative who was actually there. The other 2 were, there was a couple of them on Zoom, but I sent him to get all the information. Today, why it was important, they went over a whole lot of our testing. So everything from maps to what we can do instead. We did find out that we can do just maps instead of the other one too for our interim, so we're not double testing kids. Because what's also important about the testing is not overdoing it. Because we're going test it. Well, it's important, but when you overdo it, it just becomes so monotonous for kids to have to do over and over. It's like when you keep filling out the same information and having to give it to, you know, like, can't y'all just get together and
You
get
mean
the
like every
information?
time you go to the clinic?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, like your medical is the worst. Like, I'll start at the clinic and have to fill out. Then I go to a specialist, have to fill it out. Then I'll go across the street to an x-ray and have to fill all the same stuff.
None of our information changes.
Can you just make me a copy?
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, we
Let me tell you how often it does change.
It doesn't.
It does.
And on the Title IX, it's, like I said earlier, it's crucial for us to make sure we're up on all of the new government stuff. Because we are like yo-yos nowadays. This administration does it this, the next one may not do it, but we have to stay up on all those rules that haven't changed for years, by the way.
And the Supreme Court just overruled mine on the boys in the girls' bathroom.
Yes. Really? Yes. So the October meeting will be very interesting back east. It's gonna be in Pittsburgh, and it's gonna be very interesting to see what they tell. Because all of that stuff comes into those national conferences, and they'll give you what the latest is, right? That we don't know. So we'll know. They'll be reporting on that. Regional school board meeting will be September 23rd. We still haven't got an invite from Tatum yet, but I wanted to give y'all a heads up as early. I don't know if we want to be there. I don't know what we're gonna do on that. Yeah. I don't know if we should drive a school car there.
Take Air Force One?
Yeah, it'll be in Tatum on the 23rd at the normal time, but when we get the invitation, it's gonna go out to y'all. Tatum doesn't send it out yet. They're short staffed. Don't you get so great? Yeah.
This is like-
Oh, yeah, this is different. Oh, crap. But anyway, joke. They're doing well, those folks in North, they're doing well.
It's like a step right behind.
So also enrollment, I was gonna go over that both principals did a good job on enrollment. I'm checking it almost daily. The last I had didn't have those 2 students for elementary. So let's say they're up 11, from May, or from, yeah, I got it from May. But high school is down 7 from May. So we're at 4, you gotta look at net gain, net loss. We're a net gain of 4, which is still good, as long as we don't lose any. And so I always go, end of year, where are we at the first of the year? Sometimes though, this is the lowest we'll be. Sometimes it starts picking up. We don't know yet, but you know, the trend usually, as the year goes, we pick up a few more. I really am personally thinking we are almost expanded in JAL to the point where housing is gonna keep us from expanding much more. If we don't get any more housing, we're not gonna get more kids. That's just, I mean, it's obvious, there's nowhere for it to put them, you know? And hopefully, the powers that be, because that's not the schools, we've done our part in expanding teacher housing and keeping it all up and nice. But at some point, we just need more family housing. We've already started trying not to buy neighborhood houses, the school, and put new ones when we need them. With this new expansion we just did, which is kind of unprecedented, by the way, of this expansion we just did, we don't anticipate much more. The swell is kind of, here we are. If anything, it's gonna start maybe clicking down a little. That's all about funding, oil prices, all of that. We have to look at all of that whenever we're looking at staffing.
I just want to make sure that in our staffing that we don't ever have large class sizes. You know, we don't want classes of 35 and
You have 50, she said.
Well, no,
No,
that's
per classroom.
that's a total number.
Yeah.
I mean, a classroom.
We want 20 or less.
Right, to a teacher. Right, to a teacher, right? And I really like the fact that we have somebody that's able to translate, you know, be able to.
And I really like
Spanish
his
class.
I really like his data, so you kind of know where the kids are. You can kind of look at how many are in each section of each high school class, which in elementary, it's easier to say, well, there's 22 in Miss so-and-so and 21 in Mr. so-and-so. Well, at high school, you really need to know who's in what section, who's in Spanish, who's in algebra, how many, not who, but how many for each one. That way, that helps y'all to kind of get a mental picture of where we're at with class sizes, even at the high school level. That's enrollment. Current projects, the auditorium renovation, we are 99.9, but those last few little things are what I've really been pushed. And he mentioned it for a reason. I've been telling him I want something done. not just, why is the carpet not? Y'all want it done, lock, stock, and barrel, nothing else to do, and they're working on that punch list right now to get that. Because you saw the auditorium completed where we can use it, but not at 100%. Like, we're gonna come in and tune the audio system, the curtains and back rigging is all on electronic. So we went and did a training the other day, and I was more lost in that training because of the complexity of these systems. We've got, thankfully, we have Shelley and Mr. Tolliver. Mr. Tolliver has had his own band for a lot of years with all the sound system. He's used to the AV. So we have sound, that's Casey with the maintenance. We have sound on one side and then lighting and visual on the other side. So when you come into the auditorium, look at that big old console, and you're gonna see all these computers, you're going, how are these people? And so you've got the sound on one side and the AV. So the AV is totally separate. Your lighting and effects are different than your music and sound. It's really cool what the capability of this thing will do. They said it's in line with the Super Bowl, uses the same equipment that we have. They said our equipment is in line with the finest in the country. And the finest in New Mexico, period, is what we asked them. There is Carlsbad building this behemoth auditorium, but we're not that many A's. No, we're smaller school districts. So that way you can see that whenever we have it for our veterans program, you're gonna see that equipment and go, this is so cool. We didn't even have it out for graduation because it wasn't all operational.
We should see it sooner, shouldn't we, for the productions?
Well,
The drama productions?
I don't know if they'll have one, will they have one before the Veterans Day?
Yeah, probably November, December.
Yeah, so.
Oh, I thought October we were gonna have one.
I don't know if you'll see what you'll see first, but you'll see it either way. I want you to see that equipment. It's amazing because now the back rigging is not on ropes like an old pirate ship. It's actually, and it goes, everything's motorized now. So we got a really nice system. Now we're just grappling with being able to use it. Anyway, so football field improvements, you've already got updates on all of those. The video scoreboard jumbotron, that will also, Miss Shelley will also help run that thing too, whenever it's done. We don't know how it's gonna.
Ever get a day off?
Or not, or not. But you saw what we made her. Mr. Shaw, yeah, no, but no, she's instrumental, I appreciate it. So that's where we're at with that. I don't see anything that wasn't covered. Greenhouse will still be built along with the junior high addition. At some point, you're gonna see the greenhouse and all of that playground, not playground, but all of that like pickleball court and everything, they're gonna give you the estimates coming up. It's not the next week. So you'll see what that new courtyard will be. So, is there any questions you guys have for me on that?
I don't think so.
I'm sure. Yeah, all that stuff is covered.
Yeah, in our
Just throughout the whole day.
and I just want you to still have a list on what we're working on, the auditorium, what we'll be dropping off within this next month.
Awesome. Perfect. Anybody have any questions about Mr. Schneider?
You left that very open-ended.
All right, we need a motion for adjournment. 7:57.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
All in favor? All right. Thank you very much, Chris.
Yes.
And I'll get with y'all on updates here in May on the bids and stuff, so y'all can be on that process.
You know what?
Yeah.
How do you want to tell everybody?
Thank you guys, see y'all. Hey, see you later.